everybody. Welcome to another MCU episode of Games My Mom Found. I am Mike Albertin. Who's got some tape? Anyone got some tape? Anybody got tape?
The extraordinarily humble Michael K. Hughes.
And Bill Tucker, and still not ripe.
that was my other one I had written down.
Nice.
I was trying to decide which ones I should go for, and I'm like, that tape one just made me shake my head in irritation, so that's what we went
good. I like tape.
Okay, so we're talking about Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 that came out in 2017.
Feels older than that. I think we talked about that last time.
All of this feels older than what it is, yeah.
Yeah, it really does.
And I wonder if that's just a symptom of 2020. We're recording this in 2020. You're going to hear this in 2021, where I'm sure we'll still be in apocalyptic hell. I'm sure we'll still be in what feels like nuclear winter.
Okay, it's a little bit better than it was.
Yes,
a couple weeks ago, so a little bit.
True. Oh yes, it
happier.
is. We'll see. Who knows? But yeah, it feels quainter, and I wonder if it's just a symptom of the times we're in right now. Where everything's so important. So yeah, it
Plus
feels.
We haven't had a Marvel movie at all this year. So.
No, exactly. Yeah,
that doesn't help the thing.
I'm actually okay with that break, but anyway.
I was going to get my Scarlett Johansson movie. I am not okay with that break. Not okay with that.
Like I said before, just like I said, Sing is a fine little family film featuring her as a porcupine.
You know what? I'd rather watch Sing 3 times in a row than watch this shit again. So hey.
Wow, I'm so shocked by this. All right, let's get to a quick summation, like first impressions. Maybe we can talk about I guess the movie itself, as far as director James Gunn directed it again. Good. I can't imagine somebody else with this property.
I agree with that, even though I love the first movie, but I don't know about what the hell he was doing in the second one. But I think it's just a me thing.
I'm interested to learn why. What about you, Michael?
I know I saw this in theaters, and then the last time I saw it was 3 years ago on a plane, which is obviously the optimal way to see it.
Always, yes.
I don't remember most of it. I remember liking it.
What about this time around?
Less so.
I did too. Less so.
Not quite in Mike's camp, but definitely somewhere in that gray area.
I'm not in the gray area. I still like this quite a bit, but not nearly as much as I did before. I'm still wrestling if I like this better or worse than the first one. I think it's very different. While being, it does a lot. We'll get into what it does well and what it doesn't. But yeah, I think I might like this the most of you guys. Then I still enjoyed it quite a bit, and I think it does a lot of things right.
I'm glad, because I was worried all three of us would think like me, and I'm like, well, this won't be as interesting.
But I saw why, and I'm curious to why you dislike it so much. But I think the reasons you dislike it so much are the reasons I was cooler on it this time around. Yet it didn't bother me probably as much as it bothers you.
I know when I first saw it in theaters, I didn't like. If I remember correctly, I didn't hate it, but I was like, yeah, okay, that wasn't that great. And then the second time I tried to watch this movie a couple of years ago on Netflix, I couldn't even finish it. I got to the forest with all the stupid traps, and I just turned off the movie and never went back until this episode.
That's just so interesting. It's funny. The last time I realized as I was watching it, I saw it in theaters, adored it. I thought it was, oh my God, this is fantastic. Saw it again within the last 12 months. I saw it. I've been in this house that I'm currently residing in that you can't see, so there's no context. Sorry. I've been in this house since April of last year, April of, I guess, 2019, and I've seen it within then. My wife and I watched it, so I've seen it recently-ish, and this is my third viewing. Again, cooler, still really liked it. So and I'm psyched that James Gunn's going to do the third one. Again, I can't imagine somebody else taking over this property. After he was almost canceled.
They said Disney sure could.
Oh yeah, Disney was like, we're not messing with that. Again, 2018 cancel culture was at a pretty high level. A lot of celebrities were getting picked off.
Well, plus
and some rightfully so. Some maybe
that whole thing with him though was kind of a troll on hate groups in a way too, because he had made tweets that years ago, like over 10 years ago, and he apologized for them and moved on. I mean, Disney knew they existed when he was with Troma Entertainment, and then a bunch of trolls were bringing it back, and that's what. And then they fired him, and then they rehired him. From what I understand, at least it was like all part of a ploy to make Disney fall for these trolls.
Yeah, there was a lot of that going on
in 2018. Some trolls were very happy that life was going their way. Maybe they're not as happy anymore. Who knows? But
yeah,
so as far as I'm going to take
that. They received so much backlash from Hollywood establishment. Like they received backlash from basically the entire cast. Came out and supported him, essentially saying Yeah, we all say terrible things at some point in our lives. None of us, I think I've said this on the show before, but none of us want our employers or family or friends or anybody to see what we did 10 years ago. Like us 10 years ago probably weren't great people, especially, 15 if we were in college or high school, post-college. We all did horrendous things. And the thing is, as long as you recognize that, grow and learn and don't double down, then I think there's a lot of room for forgiveness and understanding. Moving on from those things. But yeah, that's kind of like the Hollywood establishment came out in support of him as well as basically an entire cast. And Disney wisely didn't give in to that trolling and said, you're back. Please helm our third movie, because again, who else is going to do it?
I'm glad he's coming back, because I do want to see a third movie, and I'm hoping I enjoy it more. But it also just, that whole thing was just stupid that they did that to him.
Disney.
I mean, it's just his trilogy. So I think should we jump into the movie?
Yeah, let's go for
it. So this movie starts off. I mean, I was enjoying myself at first. Like, I'll tell you when there's a certain point when the click happens. But so it starts off in 1980 Missouri, playing a decent song that has more meanings than I realized, because I think I must have blacked out everything of Kurt Russell talking. But they're playing the song Brandy. Well, I didn't realize that in that song, Brandy's like, because I always know, Brandy, you're such a fine girl. What a good wife you would make. Or whatever bullshit that is. And I never realized that it's about a guy who just can't stop being at sea. Even though he has a woman he loves, he still has to go back to the sea.
Yep.
I never realized that until the movie, blatantly told me that's what it's about.
Yeah, basically, when Kurt Russell kind of goes through the lyrics.
Yeah. And I never caught that, because, I mean, I knew the beginning. I knew, you see the little plant that he put on the planet. I got a problem with that part, too. But we'll get there. And... you have Kurt, it's just like, okay, like I like Brandy. I like how they're showing how he knew how he met his mother, and how, she gets pregnant and all that kind of thing. And then it jumps to 34 years later, where you start off with them trying to protect this gold battery thing or something.
Yeah, I mean, before we jump over there,
sure.
Hey, Michael, what did you think about that opening scene? Well, Brandy's is a very good song. It's one of those cool little storytelling songs, obviously, that you forget's a storytelling song, because it's it's kind of happy and lively. It's a great driving down the road song, it's kind of one of those driving a little slower than speed limit, just kind of enjoying the moments on a nice summer day. It's a great little tune for that, and it does have that extra meaning, which comes back later. What do you think, Michael?
We talked a lot about the soundtrack in the first movie, and this is one of the two songs that I recognized. It was this one, and then the very first credit song at the end, and everything else is like, I don't know this song.
You didn't recognize Chain from Fleetwood Mac? Wow. Yeah. Okay. I thought that was ingrained in our consciousness by osmosis or cultural design. Wow. Okay. All right, we'll get to Chain in later on, but yeah, the songs aren't as recognizable. Definitely agree, but they are, for the most part. I think this is a better soundtrack, honestly, than the first one. Just the quality of songs are better. There's no godforsaken Ooga Chaga and Pina Coladas. They're not all bangers, but they're, for the most part, pretty damn good, with a couple of all-time greats. So anyway. Yeah, I think it's opens good. Again, it's a little bit of mystery. Who's Kurt Russell? Did he have some digital mascara on his face, like digital foundation? Did he do that stuff to him? Because
probably.
He certainly had a wig on his head.
He sure? Yeah, he did.
Yeah, that's a wig.
Yeah, pretty blatant. It's a neat little scene. Kind of, it's just cute and charming. Ends with that the space flower, and then we get to, I don't know. I want to say one of the most recognizable opening scenes in the Marvel, canon, I would think.
Yeah. So really our first introduction to Baby Groot.
Which is
I
great.
hate Baby Groot.
You are a heartless man. Who
I am. I don't find him funny. I find him stupid. I find him annoying. I do not like Baby Groot.
You're like Drax. He calls him smaller, dumber Groot at one point.
He does.
God, Drax in this movie. Garbage.
Well, he's not garbage, but he is rather annoying. And again,
I like Drax in the first movie because he just takes things very literal, I know it kind of feels like it was like a reference to autism too, where they're just things that he just couldn't get on social cues. But in this movie, he's just a fucking asshole half the time.
Yeah, this is where the movie started to lose me. We don't have 5 different characters with different personalities. We have Baby Groot and 4 different versions of Peter Quill. Like, they all act like he did in the first movie.
Yes, they do. Yeah, they've kind of melded. Although I can kind of forgive that because when you're part of a team like that, and again, the assumption is that they've been, gallivanting around the galaxy doing stuff like this for hire, kind of like mercenaries. Right. So clearly they've been together for quite some time, and sometimes personalities meld a bit. I can see that, but this is the first example of the movie really understanding what it is and what people want. People didn't really want space adventures so much from the Guardians. They wanted quippy, funny jokes. This is a comedy. This is a straight up comedy, in my opinion.
That's why I don't like it.
Which is why you don't like it. And I knew that's probably why you didn't. And again, like Avengers, and you like Thor Ragnarok, which I know Michael doesn't like.
For that exact reason.
The exact reason. We're no longer in the realm of a comic book movie with funny stuff in it. We are in the realm of a comedy with some space adventures in it. And your flavor for the movie is going to depend largely on how much you enjoy the humor and where they've gone with it. I agree. I remember this was the beginning when this opening. I remember thinking, oh no, I don't think I'm going to like this movie because they don't have any distinction. They are just basically, it's now the Guardians of the Galaxy as a group are characters. But as the movie goes on, it starts to separate them a bit through the story. And that's when it kind of returns a little bit to those distinct flavors. When you have Gamora and Nebula, their story. You have Quinn with his triangle of dads, You have Drax with the bug girl. Mantis, thank you. With the empath, So as they separate into kind of their own side stories, and Rocket dealing with his stuff, which I think is excellent, honestly. His side stuff is phenomenal. Now you get more flavor. But right now you are 100% right. This is now the jokey comedy beginning. Yeah, you're right. No one seems to have their own distinct personalities. They're just kind of funny as a group, and they're quippy, and they're reintroducing these characters. And they're reintroducing, which is fine. But Baby Groot, as kind of senseless and naive as he is still a adorable and a sweet little boy. And I can't help but enjoy Baby Groot. I really do.
I didn't even during this whole opening. I didn't even really laugh. I was watching when they have the whole part where they're trying to fight and you have Mr. Blue Sky playing. I wasn't laughing, but maybe that was a me thing.
They're fighting Shumagorath for Marvel vs. Capcom.
Is that what that is? Is that a real?
No, it's just a weird squid monster like that.
Shumagorath is a real character. He's Doctor Strange villain. We might get him eventually, though. I know Mike will be happy. No, I don't. Yeah, they just picked some random thing.
I don't remember what they call it.
Yeah, I wrote matter. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
All that matters is Baby Groot was safe. That's all that mattered to this movie.
Yes. Well, Baby Groot has to stay safe because he's an absolute good. He is just a sweet little boy. He's a kid. He's just like a little kid. How much agency can he have? And he has, of course, a huge amount at the very end. But he's just a little. And again, you would think, leave him on the ship, right? Why is he walking around this space battle?
I asked that question.
Yeah, which is a fair question. Right. It's a fair question. Why don't you just stay in the ship? I can see him being precocious and wanting to be part of the group. I like this beginning. I remember liking this beginning a lot more than in the first time around, than this one. I don't think I laughed either. But again, I've seen it relatively recently, so the shine is worn off on a bit. There's some neat little gags. The Mattel football was dumb. And that's like, okay, come on. But yeah.
The only part that got a smile out of me was when Gamara's like, Groot, get to safety. And he's waves to her. She's like, hi. Exasperated parent.
Yeah, I do really love and there's a lot of exasperated parent moments with Groot, which I really like. They're really fun. I like, Drax, of course, they're fighting this big monster while Groot is just kind of dancing along to, like you said, Blue
Sky.
Blue Sky. It's a good tune. I'm not my favorite in the soundtrack, but it's a nice little intro.
I never heard it before this movie, and I listened to a lot of 70s music and 60s, and I never heard the song before.
Yeah, this is a bit of a deep cut, I think. This is the first time I've heard it too. Well, of course, other than my other viewings. This is good. It's a reintroduction. There's a lot of action. It's a big explosive. You're focusing on a cute little adorable Groot.
But you're only focusing on Groot. Like, I just want to see the action. I don't want to see a little baby Groot dancing. I just want to see them fighting.
But I disagree. I don't care about the dumb space slug. How many space slugs have we seen over the last 85 movies? Like another space slug that we're shooting in the mouth with lasers and such. We don't need to. Yeah, and I think this is, of course, is written for awe moments. Like, oh, how cute is he? He's dancing. You see little kids dance. It's cute. They're ultimate, absolute goods. Little kids dancing. Even if you don't have kids, it's still just kind of cute. But yes, this is not really reintroducing the characters. We know them, and they're just fighting this beast as a team. And we get to an action point, once the radio gets broken.
Yeah, which I was happy when that radio broke. I smiled a little bit. I wanted to enjoy this. Like I think when I first saw it in theaters, I enjoyed this part, but for some reason during this watching, I came into this movie jaded, so I got to say that out there. I remember not liking it. And this was the movie I was least looking forward to out of our entire 21 set of this stuff that we're doing. So that plays part in it too. I just get angry at this movie. I get angry at all this part. I did like the Gamora with a jetpack and a gun. I did like that. Like the whole part where Drax goes inside his throat for no reason at all. That irritated me.
I thought that was very on. I thought that was on character. Like I could see him. They said, hey, your hide his hide is too strong for the laser blast. So he's like, I'll just destroy him from the inside. It's like same thickness. Like ain't gonna help you any. Again, I could see that being
guts in there. And if you're hitting guts, you're not gonna be okay.
Right. Yeah. He's just slashing away at your stomach lining. It's not terribly good, which is gross, man. When he's like hacking away from the inside. Whoa.
All I can think of the Hercules movie.
But better than him being spitting that yellow goop up in the first movie.
Ugh.
Oh yeah, good point. Yeah, that wasn't pleasant either.
Just none of this part. I hate all this part. I hate the defense batter. I hate the stupid sensitive nipple joke that they make at one point. I hated everything. I was just like, why are we watching this shit?
It was fun. I mean, again, I think I wasn't guffawing like on the floor, kicking my feet in the air, but it was cute. And again, that was a point where I'm like, oh no, I'm not gonna like this as much as I remember, because it is a little trite, it is a little jokey, it's forced jokey, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's very forced.
That was where my problem with the humor was. Everything feels so forced. Like, if the sensitive nipples joke was just him saying, like, I have a sensitive nipples, that might have been funny. But then have a Rocky go, ooh, my nipples, and rub it himself. It's like, okay, it's a little much.
Yep. It just keeps going.
I mean, I mean, not to linger on this too much, but I think the scene is also trying to reestablish connections and personalities, so obviously you have Drax taking things out of context and just saying things without like that emotional temperature, and Rocket just being a complete jerk. Wow. Which makes his turn, I think, pretty fun and interesting. Quinn just kind of trying to be the leader type, and Gamora just fighting with sword. Like, she doesn't really establish herself too well here. But it's cool. It's good. It's a good visual thing. They cut a monster in half. Makes me happy. I'm like, all right, that's awesome. Thank you. And they defeat the Beast, and then of course we then meet the Sovereign, right?
The Sovereign, for those that don't know, is her in the comic. Which might mean nothing to you, but it
means absolutely nothing to me.
Nope.
What is her? Is that like a collective, kind of like the Borg?
Not exactly.
I think it's a Tom Selleck movie.
In Guardians of the Galaxy, there's a very small scene where they see a gold cocoon inside in the collector's room before it blows up. She is the other half of that. That was him that was inside there who becomes Adam Warlock. This is her. I forget who she becomes, but it's a reference to that.
And what are they? Because I just read them as kind of like this super powerful, collective that was, constantly striving for more perfection.
In the comics, Adam Warlock is like a god type character almost, or like a sorcerer. Maybe a sorcerer is a better. He's just a big character, but he's involved in Infinity Gauntlet, which is what I thought they were leading up to, and they were going to have Adam Warlock in that movie. They did not. Spoilers, but so that's all. That's what it felt like to me. But I mean, again, it's a throwaway line. It just the fact that that's just what her character would be in the comic.
Gotcha. Okay.
She's not called that in this movie at all. When you look her up, it's her. It will not find you her. You have to. Her name's Aisha in this movie, but that's who the character's based on.
Kismet is apparently her other name, or Kismet.
I don't know super well. I just know she exists.
According to Wikipedia that I'm looking at right now, anyway.
No, you are right, because I know of her. She was in Alpha Flight. Okay.
Apparently.
Yeah.
So this is the point where we
why do I do that?
That's fine. This is the point where we so then the Sovereign Lady she turns over Nebula. Do what you want with her. We have our batteries back. Sweet.
Sure they do.
She mentions she mentions how Quill has a strange genealogy, which is kind of a very throwaway foreshadowing that you probably don't remember. And then they leave. We find out that Rocket has stolen a whole bunch of batteries. And Drax completely approves. I actually had a nice chuckle at that. He's just like, yay, good job. These guys suck. And then we leave to the song Lakeshore Drive.
That irritated me, that he stole the batteries.
It's in character. It's in character, though. He is out for himself constantly. It's funny because I can't remember if in the first Guardians, if he has like a softening of his personality, like he does in this one, obviously. Because he's the most extreme character in the movie, other than Drax, really. Yeah, I didn't take offense to it. It was just your brain goes, oh no, this is not going to end well, and of course it does not.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I know it plays such a big part later in the movie, and it, because he actually used the bag, which I didn't catch that before, but I just don't. I don't like it because it feels like it was. If he just wouldn't have done something that didn't make it, that was just a stupid thing to do, well, then the movie wouldn't have movied. So I guess.
Yeah, well, the movie wouldn't exist, sir. You need a catalyst to let's get the plot going, right? So
yeah, I would have liked a better catalyst.
Okay, and that's fair.
I would have liked it not to have been Rocket. Just like you're hired to protect something, you protect it. So instead, you just steal it when you're done, thinking they're not going to notice.
He didn't care. Yeah, I don't think he cared whether they noticed or not. It wasn't like he wasn't trying to like subterfuge. He figured by the time they noticed, they'd be across the galaxy by then. So I think it's very in character. He doesn't care. He's never cared.
Yeah, I
don't steals like batteries he doesn't need, as they call back to later.
Yeah. He does. He doesn't need them, but he just does it because that's kind of who he is and how he gets his validation and all that fun stuff.
And what was the song again that they were playing?
Oh, Lakeshore Drive. Don't remember off the top of my head who.
Again, it's another one that that's like I said before. I really like this era of music, but I don't know and I don't recognize any of these songs. Like even with the first soundtrack, I even recognize Ooga Chaka. I mean, I recognize majority of those songs. Here, I'm just like, what is this stuff? Other than My Sweet Lord, I
yeah. And that's a gorgeous song. But I like that. I think that's good. I think that's really good. I actually prefer that to playing all the hits where people, because instead of, ooh, I know that, Ooga Chaga, I heard that at someone's wedding. Like instead of just pointing at the screen, slack-jawed, like, ooh, yay, I recognize, and then getting thrown out of the movie. That's what happens. But here, it's just integrated. It's in there more, and you're like, I don't know this song, but it fits. And Lakeshore Drive, it's a fine song, and it fits this very well. Kind of this leaving. So, not the best integration, but it's a good tune.
It makes sense in universe because if Peter made the first tape, a 10-year-old making a mixtape is going to make all the hits, and then this tape is from his mom, so she would pick all the songs that she likes. Right. It might not be as played in that day and age.
Yeah,
that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, no, and I think it's better integrated. I just think it's a better filmmaking choice again than having Pina Colada or even the good ones. I mean, there's some good songs, of course, in Guardians of the Galaxy, but again, that takes you out.
Okay, that makes sense. Though I like what Mike's point is. That makes a lot of sense to me now. Why you would have more deep cuts, not just hits. I'd rather have hits. So, were they in an asteroid field when they're running away, or what the hell was that?
The quantum asteroid field where they're jumping around. That's actually a really cool idea.
It's a very cool idea.
I wasn't paying a lot of attention at that point.
Yeah, no, it's a very cool idea. But before that, you get, you kind of get the slow down moment where we're kind of reestablishing, Gamora and Quill have a little moment where it's clear that Quill has feelings, Gamora is hiding them, which is great.
I do like that.
Drax has a very sweet moment where he's talking about, he talks to Quill. Some people dance and some people don't. And then he goes on about how his wife would never, ever dance and just stand there stoically. I thought that was very funny. And, find some pathetic. It's very good. Very cute. So that's one of the Drax moments I like when he's wooden, but not intentionally mean. But again, with Drax, he's never intentionally mean. He's just honest, especially with Mantis, which is brutal how he treats Mantis. But again, you gotta.
That bothered me a lot.
Yeah, I didn't like it either. I didn't like it from just the way it felt. But again, from a character standpoint, he's just being honest. He finds her repulsive. So anyway, we'll get to that point. And then the Sovereigns approach.
Show up in their arcade games and start shooting.
Which is so good. I love the fact. I love the concept.
That's a word we can use. That's not the word I was going to use, but we'll go with good.
What were you going to say?
We got polarizing opinions on this part, apparently.
I thought it was stupid, and I like this type of stuff. Again.
I'm okay with the remote-controlled ships, so the fact that they make arcade noises is
that's what broke
dumb.
me.
Yeah. I guess that's I mean, fair.
It's good that you like because it is meant to be, like you said, it's a comedy. It's just and you enjoy it. That's a good thing. Like, I mean, you're not the only one. I have other friends on Facebook who are like, this is a good movie, and I'm just like, I wish I could feel the same way, but I can't. And this one, I don't think this is completely a me problem. Like, Civil War is a me problem. Like, that's a good movie. This I disagree.
And that's fair. And I totally get the arcade sounds. That did hit my brain with like okay, and you have to do that. But I love the concept so much of just these remote control fighters. Sovereign realizes we don't need to waste our human resources or whatever resources. I do like the concept of it is like an arcade. Later on in the film, I think it's actually in this chase where everyone's kind of watching the last ship take on the last ship.
Yeah.
Take on Quill, and everyone's like crowded around like an arcade. Finally, he gets destroyed, as we'll talk about in a second, when Drax bungees himself out the back of the ship.
You suck, Sarlacc.
You suck, Sarlacc.
That was funny.
Yeah, that was
okay. I did laugh. That was one of the few parts that I laughed at because all of a sudden they like him, and even though they're all failed, but he dies in the end. You suck. That might have been one of my. I think I only laughed 3 times in this movie. In a comedy, I laughed 3 times, I think.
All right. I don't think I laughed. Like I had a couple really good like guffaws. Like, oh, that's really funny. I don't think I was like, again, I wasn't peeing my
I was just debating to get a third beer throughout this movie. I was like, I think I need more beer to finish this terrible. I mean, at one point, I don't remember when it was. I was 40 minutes in the movie. I'm like, I wonder how far we got. And I'm like, we still have over an hour and a half. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah,
that happened. That normally doesn't happen. I mean, with Sin City it happened, but that was partly because that was Sin City. But with this, I was just like, can this just be over with?
I mean, with Sin City, I threw y'all a pitch you couldn't hit. There was no way.
I'd rather watch Sin City than watch this.
That's insane. I don't understand that.
No.
Michael, are you on the same boat? I don't think so.
No, I would so much rather watch this than that again.
There's a scene in this movie that bothers me more than all of Sin City's gore scene. There's a scene in this movie that really bothers me, which we'll get to.
Okay.
I don't know why, but it bothers me every time I've seen it. The whole Drax face thing, that was stupid. Then when Urgel shows up and it's a guy, it's Kurt Russell riding a yellow balloon or white balloon, and he's waving at him. I mean, I'm just like...
With reins on it?
He's got reins. He's just got coming in like this weird white knight sort of thing.
Couldn't he just have been in the ship so they think he's just a guy in a ship, not riding a fucking ship? Like,
no, because that's not funny.
They have to make the Inch High Man joke.
Exactly. That's a good point. Exactly. Because that's not part of a comedy. You don't do that in comedies. You need to have comic beats. And although right now the beats are too fast because everything is a joke. Like, here's a joke. Here's another joke. Hey guys, remember? Comedy, joke. It's too fast. They slow it down later, and that's when it gets very good. And now, so Quill and Rocket are fighting over the controls. I think this is well executed. I felt weird. It just felt like, oh god, guys, come on, really? But it's 2 egos going at it. Again, I can see it. But it did what the movie intended, which caused some dread and realization what's going to happen. There's no surprises. Hits the asteroid. They get saved by Ego, as we just mentioned, and then they do the jump point. They jump on out and they land into the planet of Ego. Oh, well, no, they don't.
They crash in the forest of some random planet.
Yeah, the Endor.
Reason.
Yeah.
I mean, they have Nebula capture. Just where you have the stupid. Earlier, you had the stupid joke that we made a reference to in the opening of this episode, where there's some fruit that Nebula's hungry, and Gamora's like, "No, it's not ripe yet. You can't have it," and she's tied up, so she can't get to it. And I just saw it, and I just went. I knew they tried to pay it off, and it doesn't pay off for me. But I didn't like any of this stuff. You have Urgel. You have what is an Ego?
Ego. Yeah, Ego.
Urgel, I know a couple times they kept changing. Yeah, Ego shows up, and then you have... Okay, I don't know if this is a kind of a reference to the real Guardians of the Galaxy. When they go to the ice planet, and you have Yondu with his sex robots, and you have all the Ravengers, there's that part where Sylvester Stallone shows up and is telling him, where they give a little bit of backstory that they don't like Yondu because he dealt with kids, kind of referencing how he was picking up kids for Ego. Sylvester Stallone is actually one of the original Guardians of the Galaxy. That's the character he's playing, Starhawk. It doesn't. The original Guardians of the Galaxy are Starhawk, Yondu. I don't remember the others, but that's one of them. But it doesn't matter because the original Guardians of the Galaxy nobody cared about. This is the version of the Guardians of the Galaxy that we're into right now.
Yeah, I like this reintro to Yondu. Kind of seeing him post coitus, I guess.
That amused me though.
Yes, it was a very odd moment.
It was odd. It was kind of like.
I was like, oh, especially when she all of a sudden she shuts herself off. I'm like,
he just kind of like nods at her, like, yeah, okay.
And it amused me. Okay, this is one of the other times I was amused by this movie, but not because of the movie. I was just amused.
Yeah, I don't think that was meant to be a joke.
No, it's actually not, and I didn't take it as a joke. To be honest, like I took it more of like a bit of sadness, like
Yeah.
and
it's there.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
That's what it's there for.
Yeah, which is good. It's a little bit of a kind of a bit of pathos and kind of just a little bit of that kind of drama of him. It's like, oh wow, okay, this is not something's wrong. You're just feeling kind of empty, and goes downstairs, finds Sylvester Stallone, and Sylvester Stallone. I actually wrote in my notes. I'm like, why is he being such a dick? And then I, obviously later on you realize that Yondu's been exiled because he was carting kids around, which is against the code of the Ravagers.
He must have carted 1 million kids around. My God.
Well, they only know about 4.
No, but I mean, like later on when you see that part.
Oh yeah.
I mean, there were thousands of bodies in there.
No, see, I didn't read it that way. When you see the giant vault of God, baby skeletons, was really really hard. Or all those skeletons of different races too, right? Different creatures types or different different like alien races and such. I know I read that Ego is using a bunch of different people. I read that as he was just ferried a few, because there's no way the audience would allow someone to get away with filling a vault of skeletons. Like, there's no way the audience is going to forgive that, which is why Ego says even ferried a few kids back and forth for me. That tells me again that there was a lot of different intermediaries he was using.
He overlooked it because he kept them rich. Because
right,
you bring the second kid and it's like, hey, what happened to the first kid I brought? Here's money. Don't worry about it.
Right, exactly. And and then that again, people do things that they deeply regret, and that was definitely one of them. But yeah, so Sly Stallone basically says, you're out. You're never gonna see the things of Valhalla and the thing of that. And then we get a moment that I did not like. And I'm sure you guys agree.
Cameo?
Since you what's that?
The Howard Duck cameo you didn't like?
Oh no, well, I completely forgot about that until you said it. That sucked. That was.
Got to throw him in there because why not?
Why not? Because
Seth Rogen, or not Seth, one of the Seths. I think it's Seth Rogen is the voice of Howard Duck for that one scene.
Okay.
Oh, and I want to make a Smallville reference. So, what did you think about Lex Luthor in this scene from Smallville?
Yeah, Michael Rosenbaum is Martin X, the disco ball face guy.
What? He's the ice guy that has one line this entire movie.
And Miley Cyrus has a line later on too, as one of the other members. It's a weird pull to get big name, medium name celebrities for one line.
Michael Rosenbaum ain't big anymore.
No.
Yeah, I didn't recognize. Well, I recognize. Who was the other one that you mentioned?
Miley Cyrus is the voice of the little computer head at the very end.
Miley Cyrus, really? Oh wow, yeah. Okay. Huh.
Because those are all those characters are part of the original Guardians of the Galaxy from the comics, and I think I'm assuming they're going to be in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, maybe like a side thing. I mean, I felt like that's what they were setting it up for, but who knows?
Yeah. Well, the end credits.
Seth Green. It's the voice of Howard the Duck.
Oh, okay. I had the wrong Seth. All right. I knew it was a Seth.
Seth
Molly
Green
Quinn from Castle was his date, apparently. Jeez. I missed that.
When actors like a director and they like a property, they'll just come by for an hour and say, hey, do a little voiceover.
You give her the chance to be in an MCU movie at this point, you're probably not going to turn that down.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, he goes for coffee. He's like, hon, I gotta go. I got some errands to run. I gotta drop the laundry off, pick up dry cleaning, which is laundry, get my medication. And, oh, yeah, I'm doing a line for a Marvel movie. So, yeah, maybe 3 or 4 hours. Is that cool?
Oh, and I can't remember if I said this, but Yondu is also one of the original Guardians.
Yeah.
Okay, I did say that.
That's fine. No,
okay.
that's fine.
He's also an archer. That's that whole reference with the stupid arrow.
What?
Huh.
Yeah, he's an archer in the comics.
Oh.
And he also has that big fin on his head in the comics, too. That's where that's from.
He said
like
archer. He said archer, and I thought the show, and then he said
so
arrow,
did I.
And I thought the show, and I'm like, what are we talking about?
Wait, what?
Gotcha, I'm with you. Lowercase letters.
Gotcha.
Sorry. I didn't. Okay, so you were saying, Bill, before I cut you off about the best, one of the best parts of this movie.
I mean, when the sovereign lady approaches slowly and regally into this bedraggled snow planet, and then her her carpet gets stuck.
Is that supposed to be funny?
Yeah, it's supposed to be funny. It's
Okay,
not funny. It's not good. No,
I'm gonna spoil part of Ragnarok. This is my problem with that entire movie: is they undercut every serious, cool moment with a stupid joke.
Yes.
Like, what's wrong with just having a cool moment?
I hope I don't dislike Thor Ragnarok when I watch it this
Man.
third time. I hope I don't dislike it.
I don't think you're gonna like it now, my friend. I don't think so.
I expect to dislike it more than I did last time. At this point.
It's this. I mean, this is Ragnarok for a lot of it. So yes, that's a very good point. Every solemn moment, you can't breathe or have a scene without some sort of joke. And again, that kind of eases up towards the end, which is why when this movie really breathes, it breathes big. And I really enjoy it for that. Again, a lot of the jokes work, but again, if you're going into it thinking it's a comedy, you can swallow these things better. This is not, again, a gallivanting space adventure. This is a comedy where people shoot things in space.
And you also have a small line right before this where Taserface, fucking dumb shit.
I love that. No, I love Taserface. Taserface is such a good bit.
I mean, really you did like Sin City a lot, so okay, I'll pass that.
I didn't say a lot. I
Younger Bill liked it a lot.
Younger Bill loved it. You kidding me?
I hate everything with I hate every single thing about Taserface. Everything about him.
It's another thing that could have been just a throwaway joke that the audience could have like put together themselves, but then we have to have Rocket spell it out for everyone.
We'll get there, but
we'll get there because that's further on in. But yeah,
me at this part very shortly.
He has a brief moment with Ego that he basically kind of explains a little bit that Ego hired Yondu, but decided to keep him. And we obviously learned that Yondu was not the best father figure. He was a bit of a jerk. You know, hey, listen, a lot of people can relate for sure. And then you also get that moment with Drax and Mantis, which kind of that like pet the puppy joke when she goes to pet Rocket and he plays the practical joke on her. And it's really unsettling and mean. And again, Drax is really mean through most of this movie, as we already said.
But like the last 10 minutes of this movie, he's an asshole to her.
Yeah, and even then, his kindness is dashed a bit with jerk face kind of energy.
Yeah,
I didn't love the way they treated Drax in this because again, it's just too much over the top. It's not endearing it's not endearing like, oh, he just doesn't get it. He's just being honest. This is him just being thoughtless.
Yeah, and that's my problem.
Being mean, yeah.
Because in the first movie, I know one of the references that people have made that he's kind of he comes off as autistic. And I thought that was really cool. And in this movie, he just comes off as a complete asshole. And I'm like, why did you take this character that was just kind of very literal and just didn't understand social cues and turn him into just an asshole? Oh, it bothered me a lot.
Uh-huh.
I think that's another reason why it bothers me because I think it's a good character that some people can relate to in the first movie. And those people who relate to that character now are just, the character they like now just a complete asshole for no reason. So I think that's one reason why it bothers me more than it might have bothered other people. So kind of a personal reason.
Yeah. I agree.
It's Bill said at the beginning, is this is what people wanted from these movies, so we got to overcorrect. And Drax was good, Drax was a big hit. Let's make him that much worse.
Yeah, later on in my notes, I write down, and I'll find it when I get there. And I said, this is the point where I realize most of this movie is Drax laughing. He spends a lot of time going, ha, 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 ha.
Probably the Mantis empath scene, I would imagine.
I think that's probably it, yeah. I suspect that is right. Yeah, I don't like the way they treat Drax in this. He's definitely a low point. Again, he has his turn, but it's a bit unearned because he's just if you're not here just for the chuckles and you're kind of watching it a little more critically or watching it more as just a movie as opposed to just a laugh factory, you kind of get that this is a bit unsettling, especially because Mantis is so innocent. She's never been off her planet. She should be treated with some kindness. Well, and also because she's a person. Just a person. Could you treat him with kindness, please?
Yeah, that also bothered me too. That you have a character who's not, very aware of the world, and here she's being introduced to the first people she meets and's a fucking asshole. That's another part that bothered me.
Right, and the person kind of introducing her to the ways of the world is basically laughing at her expense. Literally saying, "Oh, you're so naive," when he's equally naive, just in a different way. Yeah. No, well, I didn't like this at all. So I'm siding with. I'm going to go on your side for a bit. Let me just walk on over to the screw this movie side.
I'm okay with that. I'll take it. You'll be accepted. No, I'm glad that you didn't hate this movie. Okay, I'm glad that we each have different opinions of this movie so far. That I completely despise it. Mike's like, and you're like, it's okay. We're none of us are. I'm glad. I'm glad it wasn't just all three of me. It wouldn't have been as fun.
Yeah, well, that's how I thought Iron Man 3 was going to be, and then you turned out to be a wild card in that one.
Yeah, I still don't understand how that happened.
I still, yeah, I don't get it.
I actually want to rewatch Iron Man 3 now, because at least I'll enjoy myself.
Again, in the box, buried somewhere in like the shed. It's like it's in there with like the hammers and like my nails, like in the shed. You're like, why the heck is this in here? Huh? I must really hated it. You also get a cool little moment with that's actually not. What's that?
Fire scene with Ego, and you have the sad dad story.
Yeah, it's setting it up.
I told him my dad was David Hasselhoff. Have that whole part.
I thought that was sweet. Again, I could see a kid doing that.
That didn't bother me. Like, I was okay with this part, but this is where the movie like is jumping around so much, where you go from real stupid comedy to a very kind of depressing, like touching scene, and then you go right back to some dumb comedy like right afterwards. I'm just like, this movie's jumping around too much for me.
Him describing the stupid plot of Knight Rider is hilarious, though, because it just makes it sound ridiculous.
It really does.
Because it helps them fight crime.
Because it is literally nonsensical. It's pretty great. I actually dig this because again, this is this is a sweetness. But the movie does this a lot, and again, to varying levels of effect. Instead of having things in the film that pay off later, but they're in there naturally, they're setting up like volleyball spikes, right? So they say Hasselhoff, and you're just gonna be like, all right, when's that paying off? When are you spiking that one, movie? Oh, there you go. This thing. All right, spike that one. So this is a big, obviously, spike where you hear Hasselhoff and you're like, okay, is he going to show up? Because I don't know, like, if he's going to show up, maybe. And then he does. You're like,
that's how I thought about the Pac-Man setup later. I'm like,
that sucks. The Pac-Man one sucks. I don't like that at all. That was
terrible.
Yeah, that's bad. That's bad. But it's fine. I mean, but again, you need these slowdowns. You can't. At least the movie is smart enough to realize you don't need to be just again a laugh factory constantly. We need time to breathe and set some characters up. There is a pretty rich story in this. If you dig through all the jokes, there's a very cool, deep story about missing a father matters to a son and a father figure as opposed to a paternal father. And yeah, there's lots of cool themes in here, buried beneath a blanket of guffaws or attempted chuckles. So then we leave. We're off to Ego to the song The Chain. Okay.
That's what I was going to say. You said it for me.
All right, go for it.
You're just going to say that I wanted the song The Chain.
Yeah, The Chain. It's phenomenal.
I don't like the Fleetwood Mac song.
Ooh, what?
I don't like it. I like Fleetwood Mac. I've seen Fleetwood Mac in concert, but I don't like the song that much.
Oh, The Chain? Oh my god, it's probably one of my favorite songs off of one of the top 20 best albums ever written.
It's on Rumors, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Like I know stuff about Fleetwood Mac. Like I said, I've seen them. I maybe at one time I liked this song, but to me, the song just kind of like, eh.
It's a beautiful slow burn. I think it's a good choice for.
No, I mean it works. I don't know. I think I was just so angry with this movie that everything that happened, I was like, argh!
Not even Fleetwood Mac, not even The Chain, which is probably one of the best songs on Rumors, again, which is a top 20 album ever made. Not even that could rescue you from your disdain.
No, I was just mad.
It now, and I do not recognize this song at all.
Oh wow, okay.
I was gonna say where were you in the 70s, but I went, oh yeah, you weren't alive, so okay. I'll give you some credit. I wasn't either, but I listened to a lot of 70s music because of my dad.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, honestly, listen to Fleetwood Mac's Rumors. It's if you want to hear an album written and performed by a group of people who literally hate each other and are writing songs just to snipe at each other and say mean things about each other while singing it together.
The part that I love
listen to Rumors.
It's complete fact and true.
What's that?
Everything you said is true.
Yeah, no, they despise each other. They're all ex-lovers, and it's actually if you listen to Rumors very careful, The Chain very carefully, not in this movie, but put on a good pair of headphones. At the very, very beginning of the song, you hear a whisper, "Fuck!" Like he cusses it very, very small. You hear it faintly, and then the song starts because again, the themes of that song is great, excellent song. And
I've never actually heard that mentioned before.
Yeah, I heard it for the first time yesterday. I was again last night when I was done with the movie.
On The Chain?
Yeah, on The Chain, very, very faintly, and I had my big old monster headphones on, and very subtly, it's like at the beginning. It's like, ooh, that's great. So good, little hidden nuggets. Anyway, so they
I'm gonna look that up after this recording.
Yeah, they escape the planet. They leave Rocket behind, and Groot and Nebula.
Yeah, that's stupid.
Well, I don't know. I don't think it's stupid at all. I mean, well, Rocket's got to fix the ship with his, his not Deus Ex Machina, but with his MacGuffin machine. It's just fix his balls.
This is references for very few people, but it really reminded me of Red Faction Armageddon, where you can kind of repair the things you destroy with something just like that.
Oh, really? Is that a thing?
Real cool.
Neat. I mean, it's a cool little device, yeah, but it's kind of like a MacGuffin, and he's got to stay behind and fix the ship. And probably because he would ruin things anyway. People are probably figuring out and actually there's another side to that too, where I think Quill says before that, like, are you like an asshole on purpose? Are you trying to get everyone to hate you because it's working?
Yeah.
And that is really again starting that idea of Rocket pushing everyone away because he doesn't want to be hurt ever again. And of course that comes up with Yondu later on. But yeah, he's just mean for meanness sake. And again, it's a little understood. It's more understood with Rocket than it is with Drax. Like Drax has no reason to be mean, but Rocket has reasons to, and that's the kind of character. He's just been that kind of, asshole character. So endearing asshole. But in this movie, again, he goes kind of full asshole.
I mean, at least there's a reason for it in the end of this movie, but still, it's bad.
I like the line here of Gamora asking Drax why he has so much luggage. She's like, I don't want Groot going through my stuff.
Yeah.
Messing with my stuff or something.
It's a cute line. The comedy's starting to get a little more integrated here because they're doing things that reference the actual jokes as opposed to just having, again, a Mattel football thing in your hand or a Pac-Man.
Yeah, that's fair.
Which is good, and that's important. Got to integrate these things, like Avengers. Integrate it in, mix it all in, could you please? Which Avengers, of course, does not.
And then you have the stupid love joke that irritated me, where when Mantis checks or does the empath thing to Star-Lord, she's like, he's in love.
Yeah.
That goes on way too long.
It's just stupid.
It makes
me irritated.
It's a setup for Drax to yell, "He's expose your deepest, darkest secrets," for him to yell and laugh because, again, like I said,
he does in this movie.
Most of this movie, he's there guffawing and laughing because Drax laughing was always a really fun part of Guardians 1. So, like you said, the screenwriters are like, well, we have to have Drax laugh. Like, he has to just constantly be laughing because that's what people want. No, this doesn't work. I like the fact that setting up what her abilities and what she can do, because of course that factors in towards the end as well. But yeah, I mean, this is kind of and again, I could see her exclaiming how he's in love because again, she's socially awkward. She doesn't kind of quite get the social cues. But Drax, it just goes on and on and on. Yeah,
an asshole.
Sets up Gamora's great line though. Is Mantis goes to touch her, she grabs her wrist. Like, you touch me, the only thing you're gonna feel is a broken septum.
Yes, but
I will break your
later
nose.
In this movie. When she touches her arm, like, she is just like somehow that it has an effect. So she doesn't need to touch her head. Like in this, it makes it look like she just touch her head. I don't know. I'm pretty sure I'm not wrong. And
then she also mentions she can manipulate emotions as instead, even more than feel them. She can manipulate. So again,
you can make somebody fall asleep when you're trying to rip a glove off their hand too. Find out later.
Sure. Great.
Yeah. Fucking. Oh, we'll get there someday. All right. And then you have the stupid. So after you have that bullshit, you also have the Night Forest scene where they're coming, where you have all the traps, where Rocket has decided to set traps everywhere throughout the entire forest for the Ravengers that they didn't know were coming.
I think he expected the Sovereign to show up because I think someone mentions that, and Quill's like, "There's no way they know we're here." I like this part. It's fine.
I think it's great. I think
I see Rocket being a badass.
Yep, we see him doing cool stuff. Again, being capable and able and with his booby traps, they're very clever. There's lots of good physical comedy in this, obviously, which I prefer, honestly, to like some of the jokiness. Like we've now kind of changed up to just people, in a Wile E. Coyote fashion getting zapped.
Funny you say that because I was going to bring up until it goes full Looney Tunes and it shows the shot above the trees and just the two groups of guys.
That broke me.
Oh yeah,
that's what it broke.
It's a little much.
Fuck this part.
I figured. I liked that. I thought it was very funny. I thought it was very clever and fun. It was quick too. Is it dumb? Sure, it's dumb, but it's obviously these people would be, of course, murdered. Well, actually, no, because it shows them floating. So this is just more terrifying to them than anything else. But yeah, you get the needles in the face, which was like, ooh, that was rough. Oof, needles in the face, and you get the gravity mine. You get your head zapper.
You get Southern Nights.
And you get Southern Nights, which is a very good song.
The only good thing about this scene.
Huh. You're a fan of that one?
I like the song, actually. I'm listening to it now. It's not bad. I don't like a lot of music on here. Like we completely forgot to mention Undine Gan Ha, the Unloved song by Jimmy Urine. It looks like Urine, whatever the fuck his name is.
I don't know. I don't remember that one.
It's on here. I have the whole soundtrack pulled. It was apparently when Yondu's at the brothel. It popped up in my subtitles, and I'm like, "What's this?" And then it went away. But yeah,
yeah, no, I never. I didn't catch that one at all.
I don't even. It's very short, and it sounds very stupid. Almost.
Okay, brilliant.
Okay, that's why it's just a technical song.
It's a what?
They would have been playing at a played nightclub, just something like that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't really. Yeah, Sunrise is a good tune. Yeah, and it fits well again. It's kind of got some life to it, and it matches the action very well. And again, this is a well integrated song that's not most most filmgoers wouldn't know off the top of their head, right? A little bit of a deep track, not like a major deep track. It's a hit, but smart move. You can focus on the fun and kind of absorb this cool song, and yeah, all things are good.
And there's a couple parts that like this whole thing, like where Rocket has his whole plan, and then all of a sudden his whole plan is completely shattered because one guy shows up with a whistle. Everything failed.
Return of the whistle stick.
Love the whistle stick. I don't care what anyone says, and I hope Michael, you can have my back on this one.
Oh yeah.
In the last one, you love the whistle stick as well. Yeah, that whistle stick is no joke, and I love that thing. And
I think I even made mention in that episode that the scene in this movie was better.
Yeah, you might have. It's so good. I mean, just how effective it is, and just dangerous. Like it's kind of thing like, how do you defend against that other than like hide behind something? But even then, you can just loop it around. It's just like a bee, but like a lethal insect that's just
a murder hornet.
It's a murder hornet, and it's great. Oh, it's so good, and it just establishes him as just powerful. Later on in the film, we have that Darth Vader moment where they're just walking, and he's just basically murdering an entire spaceship full of people with his.
Yeah, that's the scene. Yeah, Mike, would you like it more if I referred it to as Bullet B from Metal Gear Solid 3?
I mean, I don't mind the arrow. Just what bugged me is that Rocket had all these plans, but he didn't plan for the guy with the arrow.
Yeah, the one guy he probably should have expected.
Yeah, like that's the part that bugs me, that he had all these plans. He's sitting here, he's shocking people, he's doing things, and all of a sudden they just surround him and he loses. And I'm just like, it should have been a little bit more like they did something special, not just they just walked up to him. Oh, you got to me. Oh, I guess I didn't build enough. My castle defense game. I didn't have enough barriers built up. Oh, I failed. That's how it felt. It just reminded me like one of those stupid little mobile games where you're playing a castle defense and the enemy got to you finally.
But I think that's fine. It's very, very funny. It's true. It's exactly what happened. But that's okay for me because that's what happened, right? He didn't have enough to take out everyone. So it happens, right? And then Yondu can just...
shouldn't have been playing up today. Oh, look, it fell. Oh, let's do it again. Like, you think he'd be concentrating on after, like, doing something.
Well, he didn't feel like doing the microtransactions. He didn't want to get 18 coins to buy 55 more leaves to buy 16 more bricks. So he's like, you know what? Forget it. I'll just lose. It's fine.
Gotta watch an ad to revive.
That's right. Yeah. He's like, man, I gotta wait 10 minutes before I can try again. And by that time, he was there. And then it's like,
mobile games suck.
Yes, they do. Oh, hey, I did enjoy the mobile game I was playing though recently, but I enjoyed that a lot.
Is it the TMNT Gotcha game? I've been playing that.
No, it was Chrono Trigger.
Oh well, that's not a game.
Wait,
don't cheat.
That's cheat. I play a game I play a game called Two Dots. I've been playing Two Dots for about 7 years now.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah, I'm on level 2,875. I think, and they're always adding things on. But Two Dots is great because they don't really force the microtransactions on you. They're always there. They're popping up, but they're not intrusive, and you can do fine without paying to skip ahead. So, Two Dots is fun, and it's not as gross and predatory as a Candy Crush or Tower Defense or something.
Any mobile game anymore. I fall off all of them. I just can't do any of them.
It's the only one I play, and that and poker. I play World Series of Poker.
Okay. That's not where I expected.
This is a weird tangent.
And then you have the mutiny starts happening. I don't like this part. You have Nebula shoots Yondu in the back of the head because Baby Groot let her go because earlier she's like, let me go.
No, shit, they're gonna kill your friend.
Yeah.
And Baby Groot, being a sweet little boy who loves his little friends and family, says, okay, in his Baby Groot brain because he's 7.
And you get the really dumb scene where she bites into the yarrow root and goes, not ripe. And I'm like, bullshit. Fucking bullshit.
No, it's okay. I mean,
It's fine.
it's fine. Again, the stingers to the scene never bother me too much because it's kind of getting us out. Like it's getting us out with a punch of, again, reminding us this is a comedy, because there has been no, well, other than physical humor, there's been no real humor up until, again, this movie can't go a minute without making a joke, right? Which is like, all right, come on. Yeah, it's a comedy. But I don't mind that. It was fine. Yeah, I can see why people would be annoyed. It's so out of left field. It's set up stupidly and it's paid off, kind of dumbly.
Yeah, that one's less egregious than some of the other ones.
Yeah, that's fine. They just kind of like...
I was angry at the movie. At this point, I was just mad. So that's all. I mean, I agree with you. Like, it's a small scene. It bothered me. I mean, maybe in theater, but this time I'm just like, fucking shit. Cut this out.
It's nice to see more Karen Gillan, though. She's awesome in this.
She's great. She's really
she was
good.
also awesome in that. But I want to see Elizabeth Olsen in Oculus. That's what I want to see.
The second best movie that she was in 2017 that I saw, and the other one is Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle, which I will defend.
That's a good movie.
It is a good movie.
Never seen it.
Okay.
And Next Level is also good.
I never saw Next Level, but I like Karen Gillan. You can't even recognize her as Nebula, though. You really,
True.
I mean...
When I first saw the first Guardians, I thought it was Rachel Lee Cook for some reason.
Yeah, okay, I can see that. Sure, yeah.
I mean, I don't feel bad. I thought the girl that played Aisha in this movie was somebody completely different, and it was not who I thought it was.
Turn their face a different color, and it's hard to tell.
Yeah, it really is. And this is also... I like this part only because I like this song. It's when you have them Ego showing them his planet, and they're playing My Sweet Lord. I like that song, but I like Beatles a lot. I also like the fact that song... The whole point of that song, I'm going a little bit of a rant, is to make you say Hare Krishna is your sweet Lord, because George Harrison was going a little crazy at this time.
Yeah, he was very into his spirituality. I mean, he was
fine.
for a while.
I'm not cutting that down.
Yeah.
The fact that you make a song completely just when people sing it will say My Sweet Lord is Hare Krishna. That's the part I like.
That's fair. That's a good point. I mean, this is a gorgeous song. It's beautiful.
I like the song a lot.
If it's the approach to this beautiful planet, it's My Sweet Lord, because Ego's a god. Little on the nose, but fine. But it's just a gorgeous song, and it's a beautiful approach. You got the bubbles, which, again, that's when I wrote most of this movie is just Drax laughing, because, again, can't have a shot without Drax looking at something or interacting and going, so, okay. But it's cool. It's showing this gorgeous planet. And
the Willy Wonka planet.
It is the Technicolor Willy Wonka planet. Yeah, so we kind of learn a lot about Ego. He's a celestial, a small G god, as he puts it, of course, because you don't want to say he's actually big G god because you get in a lot of trouble with a lot of different groups. Understandable.
Wouldn't upset me.
And he's basically kind of space Jesus, space god.
Oh, and there is a reference in here at one point that is very small, but when there's a part where he says, I think it's not this part, but a little bit later, someone says, I can see eternity. I think it is the line. Am I right? It's when Star-Lord gets possessed or tricked by Ego, and he sees all like the stars in his eyes, and he says, I can see it. Eternity is a celestial, by the way.
Oh.
That's what he sees. He sees Eternity, who is the celestial who looks like a bunch of stars.
That's
Maybe
cool.
we would have known that if that movie came out this year. Oh, wait, that's Eternals. Never mind.
Oh,
It's different space beings.
Different, yeah.
I can go in more, but I don't know if you want me to.
No,
we may save it for maybe save it for that moment. Maybe save it for when we get to that.
I said the leap. Yeah, that's how I got that joke. Like that he saw who eternity is, not he saw eternity. I mean, it could be taken either way, but it that part made me smile. It's a little bit later, but that part because I felt that it was a joke to that, which it probably was.
It could be an edge.
Yeah,
and I like to do that.
They sure do.
I'm okay with that because with Ego, when you start dealing with Celestials, you start talking about these godlike beings. Because eternity is a god, period. When you start getting to there, that makes sense.
And it just very, very quickly, you popped up a link to who eternity is. Thank you. The overview of this thing is every universe in the multiverse manifests itself as an anthropomorphic being called eternity. The combination of the countless entities of individual universes form a multiversal iteration of eternity. Hey, I thought this was Marvel, with a guy with a shield runs around with super strength and smashes Nazis in the head. When did we get to galactic, God stuff? What? I never even realized the Marvel universe is rife with these kind of
his brother is Galactus.
Yeah, okay, you've mentioned that name before. All right. Yeah, it's just wow, I thought it was a man in an iron suit flying around shooting lasers out of his hands. I didn't realize it was like universe absorbing celestial beings.
There's a lot.
I had no idea. I'm learning a lot about this.
It's more that Doctor Strange LSD stuff.
I guess so.
It's the same. I think it's that same time frame. Well, I mean, Galactus is in the 60s because he's in Fantastic Four 57 around there. I should know
anyway,
this.
So we learned. Sorry, just to steer back. Ego against Celestial. He doesn't know where he came from. He built the planet again. He's a space god, space Jesus. Created a human form, just like Jesus. And then Drax proceeds to ruin everything with an overlong dick joke, which is so bad.
I hated
really
that joke.
Bad. No, it's bad. This is
like, oh, hell, penis. I'm like, what the fucking movie? Like,
I know, right?
My wife
was that.
My wife thought it was funny. I think.
Okay.
I find it funny.
Yeah, different strokes for different folks. But I mean, I hated that. I was like we're getting the world building. We're getting some intrigue. This is actually interesting.
Literal world building.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, he decided to, he wanted to just learn what it meant to be human and to experience life just like Jesus. So, and then Meredith, she refers to her as Tiger Lily. Just reading through my notes. It's not very interesting. What I thought was cool about this is that he mentioned that, again, that Quill has his DNA or his energy, his essence, because he says, how could have you held an Infinity Stone without just getting obliterated? Ooh, cool.
Love how they tie, because for those that don't know, this movie takes place like right after Guardians of the Galaxy 1, before Civil War, before everything else happens in the MCU. This takes place, I think, even before Age of Ultron.
Okay, I didn't know the timeline, but I love that because, again, that was one of the big things in Guardians is how did he survive? Was it like the power of love or friendship?
Nova Prime even mentions that it might have something to do with his father.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And so we right, that's right. They do mention that at the very, very end. So that kind of ties up a bit of a plot hole for me in Guardians, and it's so nice when your brain old plot holes get tied up by something else. It's very good.
Another random knowledge that no one asked for. Spider-Man Homecoming takes place before Doctor Strange.
Okay.
Even though they come out in opposite order. God, there's a really weird timeline of how these movies all take place, and you look at the release dates, and it's very interesting.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. And then the main question Quill has is, why'd you leave? And we find out his dumb reason for leaving, which is
he's got to recharge.
He's got to recharge the bats, but we find out that's not the whole reason. That's kind of dumb, but we'll get there and hopefully soon, because man, this episode is just rolling along. Poor Mike. He has to edit this.
This will be shorter than other ones. At least I have to watch this movie again. You're like, this movie's not even playing in the background. Like, I did Doctor Strange play in the background, Civil War play in the background. This is not being turned on ever again in my life. I will never watch this movie again.
Fair enough.
You
do not.
Not even before Volume 3?
Ooh.
No. I will watch Volume 3, though, in theaters. If there's theaters still around in 2030 when that comes out, I will definitely see that in theaters.
So you're going to have drive-in. Drive-ins are going to make a comeback.
Yeah.
And then you have the scene. This is probably this scene hits me for some reason and bothers me more than any MCU scene that we've seen so far in all the movies. The part where you start seeing the people hauled out, their friends, their co-workers. I mean, again, who could think about taking their co-workers, throwing them out the window? And they're grabbing people, and the guy's like, no, and they throw him in the airlock, and they're all laughing at him as he just freezes to death. And then you see a whole bunch of them, and I hate the scene so much. It bothers me. It makes this movie so much darker, especially everybody laughing. I know it's not meant to be. It's meant to be kind of a funny scene, maybe, for something.
No,
I hate it.
No, this is not meant to be funny. This is meant to be chilling. And guess how I felt about it, guys? I thought it was pretty great. I thought it was chilling and creepy. You get that close up of him basically freezing and turning into this lifeless husk as he's screaming and begging them to, like, please let me out. They're antagonizing him to the bitter end. It really sets up these villains as proper villains, which they double down on a little bit when they terrorize poor Groot, because you can't terrorize our sweet little boy. How dare you, evil people? I know you didn't, because you didn't like Groot. It hurt my heart. And of course, but this leads out to one of my favorite payoffs later on, when they get murdered in slow motion.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Is Disney's like, we're going to rationalize Yondu killing all these guys later.
Well, no, I think it's more of just not even so much that. I think it's more of we just want to make the payoff really hit. So let's go over the top evil, and it fits in with these Ravagers. They're Mike, you said they're kind of like coworkers. They're not really coworkers. They're just a band of psychotic mercenaries who are going to follow the best buck.
That's a throwback to an old joke.
Yeah.
Is it?
It was in the Arkham Asylum episode.
Oh, okay. See, I didn't.
Like, I know that's because it's been out for months at this point. You know?
I know. That's what I'm saying. It's just I'm sleeping on Arkham Asylum. Looking forward.
I love our time paradoxes.
Yeah, it's really strange. It's like the Marvel universe. So. But no, I love this. Again, it sets it up. They're really evil and mean, and again, they're terrorizing our little boy who can't do that. He's a sweet little angel.
I don't like. Okay, it didn't bother me they're messing with the group. It would bother me is why do you take somebody who's part of their ship, dress them up in one of your outfits, and just let him run around your ship?
Well, we're not at that point yet. I know
that.
He's their mascot. They kept screaming, "He's our mascot." That's why.
Oh, you're just talking about the part where they put him in the cage?
Yeah, I'm just talking about the cage where they're antagonizing him. They're Taserface punches the hell out of Rocket, Yondu, and again it kind of seems a little hopeless. Nebula just looks at them from the corner because again she has one goal and she never really has another, really, which is pretty great. And these guys are just a means to the end of her getting to Thanos and attempting to destroy him. Yeah, no, this is really very effective in setting this scene. And again, I don't mind the fact that it's a mutiny. They're getting rid of anyone who was loyal to Yondu. All his good bros are getting thrown out into the nether regions, and it's gross though. And I agree with you. It's just startling. And then you get to the point where Taserface gets made fun of mercilessly.
Even Taserface is pro Baby Groot because he's like, the one guy's like, "Can I kill him?" It's like, no, he's too adorable to kill.
Yeah, he's too adorable to kill. It's very funny.
That's also dumb.
No, not dumb.
Yes, bothers me.
An evil mercenary person can still have a heart. Evil people still have dogs and cats. They think they're cute and they're adorable.
Everything. And then you have the stupid Taserface joke where he's talking to Rocket. He's like, "What's your name?" "I'm Taserface." And I'm like, fucking shit. Like, just
this is another one that goes on entirely too long.
Yeah, way too long. Which is part of the joke, I think, is it goes on way too long, but it does. I do like when Taserface, he asks him, "What does that name even mean?" And then Taserface goes,
"It's metaphorical.
It's metaphorical."
It's a good delivery.
So I had a good laugh at that one. That made me laugh.
It's just so stupid.
No, it's fun.
I hate. You could cut out Taserface completely from this movie, and I'd be okay with it. I don't need to know why he's in a chair. Just cut Taserface out. I'll be okay.
Oh no, Taserface is great.
He's only there to put the mutiny idea in Kraglin's head because he's the one that basically starts
Sean Gunn?
Yeah, Kirk from Gilmore Girls.
Yeah, that's what my wife kept saying. She's like, all I can see is Kirk.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I don't understand this reference.
Joe Juba would understand it. He loves that show.
I need to watch it someday because I just want to watch it for Alexis. That's all.
Yeah, that's fair.
But her eyes won't be as blue as in Sin City, so I'll be sad. God, her eyes were cool in that movie.
So one quick question: you're talking about his right hand man, Yondu's best bro?
James Gunn's brother, yes.
So that's okay. A, that's James Gunn's brother. Didn't know that. B, I have no idea what his name is because I don't think it's said once in this film.
It is. Yeah, Yondu calls him by it at some point.
It said the subtitles showed it to me multiple times.
Oh, okay. I'll say I just completely missed it then. So what's his name? Because I just kept writing
Kraglin.
What?
Kraglin.
Kraglin. Okay.
He's also the guy who does the mocapping for Rocket.
Oh, really? Neat. Okay. Cool. I didn't realize. So I just kept writing in my notes right hand man, and then I started abbreviating it because this is his right hand man. So
I just wrote Sean Gunn, brother, or Sean Gunn. I just wrote Sean Gunn.
Okay. Didn't know that either. But yeah, so this is a very unsettling scene, and again, it goes too long, like you said. Really
Another unsettling scene afterwards, when Sean Gunn is taking Nebula to her ship, and she does the whole thing about her and Thanos and Gamora, and he's like, "Okay, I thought you maybe buy a necklace or something."
The other girls go, "Ooh."
I laughed at that one too. I thought that was very funny.
That was not bad.
It gave me a small smile at his comment, but that was it.
You know what the problem is, Mike? I just realized this. Pause the show for one moment. I truly think 2020 has broken you. You are now incapable of experiencing any joy, no chuckles coming to your
and if we watch Thor Ragnarok and I don't like it, I'm going to be very, very upset.
You'll agree, because Avengers didn't like it. This one didn't like it. I think 2020 has broken you, sir, and I recommend.
He didn't like this one the first time.
Yeah,
that's true.
Avengers I loved every other time until 2020 when I think I'm going to rewatch Avengers at some point just to see if I enjoy it more.
And this is not a knock, because 2020 breaks everybody. We've all lost something.
Oh, it's been a bad year. I've lost some things. This
isn't a judgment, obviously, but I don't know. I think it kind of broke you. But hey, who knows? Who knows? Maybe in 2022, when we're all living in pods.
Hey, you know what?
Completely avoiding,
in the week right after we finished recording Doctor Strange on that Saturday, I had a beer and I danced to the celebration song from episode 6, and I was happy. So I don't know why I did that. It's just a random day in November, but hey, it was a very good day for me.
Wait, you mean the song that plays at the end of Jedi?
Yeah, in Death Star. Yeah, that's like a lot of people were apparently playing that song. Celebration, the Death Star finally blew up.
Oh, that's right. I remember what day that was now. Yes, the Empire went down.
That's as far as I want to go with that joke. But yes, I celebrated.
Speaking of Star Wars references, you referred to the ice planet earlier. How did you not call that Hoth?
That's a very good point. I don't know why I didn't write it off.
Sorry, I was thinking that earlier. This seemed like a good place to throw it in.
It is.
That is a good place, yeah.
He gets back on track.
Yes.
So I also wanted to mention that this is when you have the Quill and Eagle are talking and he learns how to do the power. You have the stupid catch. I did smile at the catch part, but because he talked about he wanted to play catch with his dad, and he's like, "Oh, I play catch," and I'm like, "Okay, this is kind of funny, but stupid."
What do you think of that one, Michael? I'm curious on your take on it.
This just sums up the movie for you. It's kind of funny, but stupid.
Not even kind of funny. It's just stupid.
Yeah, I'm just going to leave it at that. That's good.
Okay. Yeah, I kind of agree with it. I feel the same way. It was kind of funny. I remember when I first saw it, I thought it was pretty touching. Just, again, a son, all he wanted to do was play catch with David Hasselhoff and, play catch with his dad. Again, it's a simple trope, but it's a touching one. But this time it read to me as a little dumb, but yeah, exactly the same energy as you guys for sure.
Okay, and then you have the Drax Mantis talk. I don't even remember what the hell they were talking about because I didn't write that down. I just wrote Drax Mantis talk.
I think this is where he calls her ugly.
Yes. This is when he calls her ugly.
That pisses me off. It really makes me hate him when he keeps calling her ugly in this movie.
It's pretty gross. And again, you can write it off as saying, well, he just doesn't find her attractive. That's just doesn't find her. But
but I don't call her ugly.
Right, but he's just being honest. He doesn't understand that is inappropriate. Yes, he doesn't understand it.
It's not even like he's just being mean to her all the time.
I agree. No, I think it's terrible. I think it's really, really gross. And I think you can portray that energy of him being, just oblivious to the mean things he's saying because he's just being honest and not be just really gross to a completely emotionally defenseless empath who does nothing but feel. Her being is feeling. That's what she does. And to have him just be really brutal, like double down dick, is gross. And I agree with you guys. I just definitely did not like this.
It makes me not like this movie even more because of the way he is to her all the time for absolutely no reason.
Yeah, 90% of his screen time with her is pretty brutal. Luckily, it's not that much.
There's a reason. Everything's played for laughs.
Yeah, but there's no laughs here.
Right.
There's no laughs.
Somebody was laughing.
Yeah, that was the idea, though. It's like, it's funny because he's being mean to her.
Right, and that's the misstep that the writers. I can't remember if James Gunn wrote this as well. I suspect he did.
Only I had the ability to pull up that wiki. Let's find out. Written by James Gunn, yes.
Yeah. So he like you actually put it really well, Michael. That it's an overcorrection. Mm-hmm. That it's just kind of saying, well, we like fish out of water Drax. Let's have him be really mean, even though the reason is he doesn't understand he's being mean. But he's still being mean. And it's a very interesting thing is, hey, Mr. Gunn, I understand that you want your character to be mean because for all the reasons we just said. And he doesn't understand what he's doing. But you do. Yeah. You wrote this. Like, you understand what's going on. You have feelings. Like, you should be able to say, yeah, but this doesn't feel right. So even though you're a character and you kind of hand wave it because of who they are as a character, you also got to look at the writer and say, huh, maybe you want to examine yourself here because you're the one that actually put pen to paper and didn't think this through on an emotional level, that this is just kind of looks gross from the surface and it's just not funny. Even though your setup works, yeah, sure, I can see it. But you're the guy who did this. You're responsible. You're the responsible party.
You did this.
Yeah, but he did. You wrote it. So you can't do that and hand wave it and say, well, that's what Drax does. Yeah, but that's what you did. And you did that.
It reminds me, I remember reading a video game review at one point, like, someone says if you try to make a bad game or try to make fun of a bad game by making a bad game, you're still making a bad game.
Yes, you're making an objectively bad game. Yes, you're right. If you make a game that purposely glitches out and up goes down and down goes up, you can say, well, I'm trying to subvert the genre. Okay, but by doing so, you've made a bad game. You've made something objectively broken, because there is objectivity in critique. Just is. Sorry, it's not all subjective. Don't get me going on that topic. Really, oh God. Don't get me started on objectivity.
Moving on.
Moving on. But anyway,
my note. You have Yondu in a cell when he's giving the history about everything with Peter Quill and all that crap, and you have Groot getting the beer poured on him for some reason, and they're all screaming at him like a bunch of ugly idiots. And there's this one guy who laughs a lot, who has like spots on the side of his head. I fucking hate that character in this movie. I was so happy when he gets shot later on. I just smiled because he just annoys the hell out of me in this movie.
See the one with the hair in front of his face?
Yes, he's just this random goon. He's like, you can't see the face I'm making, and it just makes me angry every time. Like, get him off the film. Like, I don't like him.
It's like
he's bad
villain.
He's over the top.
And they're all over the top, though. Like all the freaking idiots that are part of this mutiny. Just I don't like any of them. Like I was happy when they died, but I was just like,
No, they're all basically getting greased up for the slaughter. That's what this movie's doing.
And then this is when you have Groot's mission, where their whole thing, they're stuck in the cell. They're going to tell Groot to go open a drawer and get the fin out of his drawer. And you have this whole part where he keeps grabbing the wrong items. Like he grabs underwear, he grabs an eye, he grabs a fucking workbench somehow that nobody hears.
Great.
And what body part? Oh, a toe. It's like, please tell me you have a cooler somewhere with severed toes in it. That's not bad.
I love this whole thing. I really did. And if we just go back up for 2 seconds, and I'll explain why. It's Yondu really at this point when he's talking with Rocket has this moment of really he's softening, and this is when he starts turning, and you realize where his heart is and kind of the regrets he's had, and witnessing somebody who's powerful like that have these regrets is really quite good. This is when he starts turning, and when the movie starts turning a bit, right? It starts turning a little more to now let's explore these emotions. It's turning to let's explore these emotions, explore these characters a bit more. It's not everything has to be a joke. You know, Rocket, of course, fires off because Rocket starting to feel things and says, "Oh no, I can't feel things. Let me just be a complete asshole on purpose to deflect." Again, really good. I think that's excellent character writing. Again, characters, you learn about characters, what they're doing, and when they're interacting. That's how you write characters. So I love that. And then we get to this. I think I really, really like this. So, Michael, I know you have, Mike, you have kids. Michael, do you have kids?
I have cats.
You have cats. Well, cats don't get. So, Mike, I know you've had kids.
I have a son.
You have a son. There's nothing more annoying, or not annoying, but nothing more tedious and trying than trying to get a 4-year-old or a 5-year-old to get you something.
Oh yeah,
son, can you
I wouldn't have tried
this?
it. Would have known better, but yeah.
Can you get me? Oh, I just said son, and my kid just walked in. No, Will, it's okay. I'm talking to the microphone. It's all right. It's okay.
That's cute though.
You want to tell me something? Sorry, hang on, guys. I have to have a conversation with him. What's up, bud?
I'll go on with that part while he's doing that. No, I mean, he's not wrong, though. I mean, I don't remember a whole lot of that with my son, but yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I just don't like this part just because I just don't. I was already upset with this movie, and Tiff was watching. She made a comment because he sent to the captain's quarter, and all these guys are sleeping in the captain's quarter. She's like, "Are they having an orgy or something?" I'm like,
"That is weird." Yeah, I hadn't pieced that together. It's like
either, but she wanted me to mention that, and I was like, and I didn't write it down. She looked at me. She's like, "You're not going to write that down, are you?" I'm like, I just looked at her and she's like, "You write down the stuff that you think." I'm like, "Okay, I'll put it in the show."
Like, I wonder if it's because they're not allowed in the captain's quarters, so once they overthrow Yondu, they're like, "Well, we're all going to sleep in there. I want in there."
Yeah, he's talking about now after. So you guys basically he retrieves the fin. We've gotten past that.
I got that far. I was talking about how that they're all sleeping in the room.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, they're all sleeping in the room. Yeah, that was kind of weird that they don't have quarters. Like they don't have like rooms that they can go into, but whatever. It sets up a good thing. My only point before, sorry about my son. I literally called like, hey, son. And of course my kid walks in because he's a good boy. He heard me summon him. But anyway, I like this. I like this whole sequence because it's so on character for a little kid to do. You know, hey, can you go get me the scissors from the drawer? He comes back with like a knife. No, son, the top drawer. Okay, he comes back in with like a notebook. Dude, no. Okay, listen. And you know what the easiest thing to do as a parent would be just to get it yourself, but you're trying to teach a child to do a thing. So I love that so much because it's in character. He's cute. He's a little naive. He's a little boy. I keep saying it. He's awesome. He's so good. Love Baby Groot. Super into him.
I'm one of the only few I know that don't like Baby Groot at all.
2020 broke you, my friend. It's all right. It's okay. It happens, man. So we're going now to where Groot finally understands where he's got to go. They show him the little symbol. Is that where we're at?
Yeah, he gets the fin. Oh, you show him the symbol, then he doesn't want to wear the hat. You have that stupid joke for a minute.
It's cute.
Again, it's less egregious than other stuff.
Yeah, agreed. Then you have when he gets to Finn and Taserface and realizes he got the fin.
Even before that, he goes and he picks up the mints or something, candy out of there, and Kraglin shows up. He's like, "That ain't it."
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
You're supposed to think that he's gonna capture Groot, and then he throws the fin at Yondu. Yeah.
Finn. Okay, I forgot about that. That was okay. I like that he kind of realized that he fucked up and caused the mutiny, didn't mean to, and he was just upset. And then they have. This is probably one of my favorite scenes of this movie. At least it was the first time I saw it. This time it was kind of lukewarm because I was just angry. But so you have him, he gets the arrow, and for some reason Rocket decides, hey, you know what? If we're gonna hijack the ship, let's tell everybody we're here. And they start playing "Come a Little Bit Closer."
Any clones of Quill's old music? They set it up. They didn't just throw music in there for the sake of it.
I know, but I'm okay. I like the song a lot. I don't know why they chose this song. I liked it.
That's great. It's a really good song. It matches well. It kind of lowers the stakes a bit. Like you now realize, like if it was a bit like actiony, kind of like dun, 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 like it wouldn't have mattered because all we're getting here is the cathartic release of all of these horrible, horrible mercenaries and ravagers just getting murdered in efficient, stake-free fashion, and it's just pure cathartic. Even with the bodies falling. That's kind of gross if you think about it, really. But man, was that glorious! Just a rain of bad people that all needed to go. Like every single one of you. You poured beer on our baby Groot. You're not allowed to live anymore. Like you just can't. You have to go. It is a great scene. Actually, I have a listing of the tracks in this movie in the order in which they're in. Because I have them written, but I always kind of forget. And for this one, it has "Come a Little Closer," Yondu's awesome scene. That's what it says. And it's true. It's all it needs to be said. Jay and the Americans. This is a great song. And
it's a good song.
It's got a little bop to it. It's light, and it's perfect for the scene.
The whole song is about this guy meeting a girl at the bar, and then they're warning him that Jose is going to come and kick his ass. And at the very end, after he jumps off the window, at the end of the song, she's saying the same thing to Jose instead. She was saying to him. I just thought I like that. I like that in the song. That's not in this movie, but I like the song a lot.
Yeah, I mean, this is more for just scene setting and background, but it's great. Fits the action very well. Well placed. This is awesome.
Yeah, this is the scene that we alluded to earlier of the Whistle Stick Massacre Volume 2, as I put it in my notes.
And then they board another part of the ship or something, and Sean Gunn comes with them. The ship blows up, and I don't really care for this next part where it's just for comedy's sake, where it's like, oh, we're gonna do 700 jumps, and you shouldn't do more than 50, and then they're all freaking look like they did a bunch of acid, and their eyes are popping out.
I mentioned this in a different episode. I don't think it was last week with Doctor Strange, or I
don't remember it, and I've edited most of that, so I don't think so.
Okay, I definitely mentioned this in a recent episode. Don't recall.
Yeah, I don't remember either.
Maybe it's that man.
Oh, maybe. Yeah. This is pretty. This is fine. I mean, the bubble faces are kind of silly, and they're doing their jumps. And I'm watching this, thinking, I'm sure there's Marvel references abound in these places they're jumping to.
I didn't.
None that I caught, and I was looking for them.
Yeah,
I was like, I didn't get
either.
any of them. So, okay, that's good.
They did that last week with Doctor Strange.
And I was looking for them a whole bunch too, but I couldn't find any.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm mostly educated about Marvel. Like I've studied a lot of it, I should say. That's the right word here.
I'm sure we have that one listener that's like, these guys are idiots. They have no idea what they're talking about.
Hey, listener who's thinking of that, you're right. For me, at least, I don't know anything about any of these things. So
I know a decent amount. Unfortunately, this isn't exactly my cup of tea because I never read any Guardians of the Galaxy books. The only Guardians of the Galaxy book I've ever read is Old Man Quill, which is a very sad, depressing story, but very good. That's the only thing I ever read of him.
Hey,
all right,
feel free to leave comments and correct us.
Yes.
And then you have the stupid where he's dancing with Gamora. I didn't like this scene either, where he's trying to hit on her essentially again, and he's playing the Sam Cooke song I never heard before.
That's a great song. Well, it's Sam Cooke.
That's what Tiff said to me too. She's like, I'm like, who the hell is Sam Cooke? What? And she's like, it's blues. I'm like, that's why I don't know it.
Man, Sam Cooke is a legend.
He's no Beatles. And Paul McCartney.
Well, I mean, there really is nothing quite like the Beatles. I could have a debate with you on Paul McCartney. I think he's written more bad songs than good. But that's a different side and a different conversation. Although his good songs are phenomenal.
I love that song Yesterday though.
And I saw him at ACL Fest in 2019 or 18. He headlined it, and he was great. And his band was good. His band was great. He was fine. He still does it though. He still gets out there and does it, and he's a legend.
I saw him in 2005 in the back in the U.S. tour. That was fucking fantastic.
Which one?
It was back in the U.S. tour. I think it was 2005 or 2004. I saw it, but he toured then when he first came back after he had toured for years. Fucking amazing.
But I like the scene a lot. Again, this is kind of, a slowing down, right? And the humor in this is integrated. It's not like pushing jokes in your face, where I didn't see Quill hitting on her a little bit, like not in a sleazy way though. I didn't read this as sleazy.
Kind of realizing he's a god in a way, and he's kind of just like being he's very excited, confident kind of thing. So, I mean, not sleazy, but he does love her, too. So there's that. I mean, there's that affection that's growing between both of them that's kind of been seen throughout this movie.
It's the unspoken thing that he references multiple times.
Yeah, the unspoken. Yeah, I like this. This is kind of like a little sweet moment. She kind of lets down her guard a little bit and has a nice little spin when they're dancing. I think it's very sweet. And again, this movie's slowing down. We're kind of, because it's gearing up for a very loud, frenetic, end as Marvel movies do. And then they of course get into an argument because she closes up right away. He is still riding on the not assumption, but he's basically saying, look, I found my dad finally, and you brought me here, and now you're all pissed off because now she thinks something's wrong. Like my spidey sense is up. I don't know what's going on. So they have a big.
Not wrong.
Well, she's not. Turns out she is right.
This scene's also a payoff to what Drax was saying earlier about Quill needs to find someone that can dance, and it turns out that she does.
Yep. Nice little payoff to that comment for sure.
That's all I had.
Okay, and then you have Nebula, where she attacks Gamora by driving a ship into her, almost pretty much to crash the only ship she has to kill her.
Like Bill said, it's her one goal.
She's got one. She's got two. She's got one goal is to kill her sister. Then goal 2 is Thanos.
Yeah, good luck with that one. That's it.
Yeah, well, every time she says that, I'm like, you do realize.
Even Gamora's like, I don't think that's possible.
Yeah, Gamora was like,
without the Infinity Stone, that fucker can still is a freaking beast. Like, he ain't no pushover.
He's a big dude. But she's just blinded by this revenge. I actually liked it. I could totally see that in character, that she would drive this ship and pursue Gamora, blasting, laser cannons at her with just mindless zeal. Like, you are the target. I will do anything to destroy you, even if it destroys me.
Yeah, and then you have her crash into essentially the whole point of this is they have to get underground to find the cave. So they have to crash the ship to go into the cave, and then she rips off, or one of the guns that's fallen off from the ship, Gamora picks it up and comes and just shoots the hell out of the ship. And when I'm watching this with Tiff, she's like, is it just me or does that look like a penis? I'm just looking at her like, I got nothing. I got nothing. But I'm like, okay.
I didn't see that myself.
No, I didn't either. Nope. That's what she said to me. She wanted me to bring it up. And this is when you also have, finally, after they try to kill each other, like Nebula has the chance to kill Gamora, and she stops herself from doing it. She just can't bring herself to do it. And I think that's a good scene, too, because this is when you start seeing the change of when she finally starts to become good, I guess.
Yeah, she said all she wanted was a sister.
Yeah.
I never read it as she's good. She just turns. I don't know. It's not good.
Yeah,
She kind of just. Yeah, it's not good. She just turns not psychotic, right?
that makes sense.
How about this? I'll put it this way. She doesn't really change in her character, but like I've said, I think maybe a couple times in this series, her gaze kind of widens. She understands there's a bit more to this world or her life than just mindless revenge, even though her goal is revenge. She just can't bring herself to kill her sister.
I like
that's the thing. And
like
who's the actress who plays Nebula?
Karen Gillan.
Karen Gillan. She's great. Her performance is really good in this movie. We haven't really talked about performances so much, but her Yondu is excellent in this. But her performance is great. Just how well she projects anger and drive, and even that moment of emotion, like she kind of ticks, like she can't do it. Great, really excellent. Yeah.
Yep. Her saying that she wanted a sister is like the realest emotion that we got in this movie.
I would agree with that, even more than Yondu and his the father triangle, for sure. And I think
Brandy song again at this part too.
What's that?
They play Brandy again because right after this is when they start going to the huge part about how. Okay, never mind. You have a couple other things before that, but yeah, they start playing Brandy for some reason, and I wrote that in my notes. And this is when it skips to Mantis warning Drax that something's wrong.
Right.
I like it when this starts happening, and this is also the same time Gamora finds a whole cave of just hundreds or thousands of dead bodies that he has down here.
Yeah, the cave of bones.
Yeah, very grim. Very grim.
I mean, you think if you were a planet, you would just dispose of them or something, not just put them in a cave.
You got godlike powers, better just leave them all there. So someone can find them.
Basically.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah. Maybe it's just the idea is like no one's gonna find them. No one's coming to the planet I created in the middle of the cosmos. It's a lot of work to just disintegrate that. You're right. He could have just disintegrated them, but then you wouldn't have.
He puts them all there. He's like, yes, this will set up the third act of the movie. That'd be great.
Yes.
He's very aware of what's going on.
Yes. They sent him the script, and he's like, huh. That'll work.
Okay. Cave of bodies. Got it.
Cave of bodies on it.
That's how it felt, though.
Yeah, no, it's divisive. It's definitely divisive, but it works, and it's a very, very shocking scene, right? Again, in this our fun comedy, to have a wall of bodies from a variety of different races. Yeah, pretty crazy.
That's one of my. It jumps around a lot.
I'm surprised they didn't try to undercut it with a joke. And
before that, I think did we miss the part where Ego starts telling Quill the big idea, the big reveal of what the plan is, where that's when he taps his head to see eternity.
That's almost there. You have Mantis warn Drax, Gamora find dead body. You have the Stan Lee cameo, which is the best one of the entire series.
How? What is it?
You didn't get that?
Who are you talking to?
He doesn't know who the Watchers are.
What is a Watcher?
Okay, let me change my voice here for a second. The Watchers in Marvel, their first appearance is Fantastic Four 40-something when they introduced Galactus. The Watchers are intergalactic beings that watch the entire universe but do not interact. They are kind of like gods in a way, but they're just always aware of everything that's happening around the world. They do not get involved. And the idea in this is that Stan Lee can make a comment, I was a FedEx driver, is that Stan Lee is actually the same character in every single MCU movie that we've seen. He's just living throughout this world, watching what's happening to these characters. And that's what it's a reference to, that Stan Lee is also a watcher.
Oh, that makes it a lot more interesting. I just thought it was a funny throwaway with him on the spacesuit.
That every time you see him, it's the same. It's not just. It's the same Stan Lee, the same character.
Wow.
Kind of watching. That's what he is. I mean, it's not. He can't travel, but he's watching what's happening.
Oh, that's cool. If he's a watcher, then why does he have to wear a spacesuit? But whatever, that's fine.
He's somebody. He's it's the same character. Like he's not just. I
don't care. That's awesome. That's a really cool thing.
So much because it also shows that the Watcher exists in this world, and that the Watchers play a big part with Galactus coming. Because the first time the Watchers interact with the people is when Galactus shows up. They're like, "Hey, we have to tell you, Galactus is going to kill you. We can't let this happen like we're supposed to." And that's where they might go eventually. Because Galactus is probably going to be the big villain in the next
Fantastic Four movie.
Oh no, there will be Fantastic Four. But I feel like when they do build up the next big movie, will be Galactus someday. I think we have a long time till then, but I think that will be the next one.
Wow, that's very cool. I obviously didn't know that. Cool. Well, thank you, because I had a big question mark next to it. Like, I'm sure the guys know this. I think I've seen these bald white heads with the cloak. I think
that's why that's why I love that part. Like that's great. That is my favorite part of this entire movie. It's that little cameo scene.
Yeah, that's great. That's cool. Very good.
And now you have the part where Peter's under Ego's control, where he looks up, he sees the eternity, and he's talking to him. And I love how this is the part where Kurt Russell's like, yeah, and I put that tumor in her head. And he's like,
this is my favorite part. When it's like, it killed me to put that tumor in her head, and that just snaps Peter out of it. He's like, what? Immediately, no hesitation, pulls out his guns and just blasts Ego to shit. Oh, it's such a good reaction.
It is good. It's a wonderful reaction. It's got some cool effects. You know, it kind of blows him away and he just kind of reforms. My question, why did you put the tumor in her head, sir? Like, why?
He says that if he came back to visit her again, he wouldn't be able to leave. So basically the solution was to kill her so he wouldn't have that problem.
Well, A, don't go back, or B, I thought your whole goal was to find a purpose. Right, a purpose for your life.
Colonate the planet. So that's the whole. No. His big thing. No. His big thing was, I need to find a purpose. Right. I need to find meaning for it. The love of your life usually is a pretty good purpose. That's good. Like that, you found one of the primal things it means to be human. That's what you were looking for. You were being Space Jesus. And Jesus comes down to learn what it's like to be human, right? That's a lot of that. That's the big thing of it. So Space Jesus comes down. He finds love. He finds someone he is genuinely, and there's no question he didn't just use her as a surrogate or use her to birth his son. Like, he actually had feelings for her. It's very clear. So you fell in love with somebody, which again is a crucial tenet of the human experience, is to find someone you have a everlasting connection to. And you're everlasting. And you could use your God powers to make her everlasting, because that's a MacGuffin. You could just do anything with God powers. So why did you go through this and say, well, you know what, screw the woman I loved. This more cynical kind of, I need to be, you know, the ultimate being in the cosmos, when that wasn't your intention. You found it. Maybe that's the tragedy of this movie, where he found that thing and didn't recognize it. And didn't see it. He went for this other thing, which of course eventually leads to his demise, as all that kind of stuff should. But it was so stupid. And I just read it as, wow, you just needed a catalyst for Peter to realize, or for Peter to realize, wow, this guy needs to be no good, and then set up a giant half an hour battle. Didn't like it at all. It was just, I felt it was so forced and dumb. It is. Everything about this just irritates me. The movie could end right around here. I would have been okay. Like, I didn't need majority. You could cut out almost all of the rest of the stuff that happens next.
Yeah, I think I changed my mind. Bill's kind of set up the tone of the movie the best. Is so forced and dumb.
Yeah, you have the Hasselhoff cameo, which is funny.
Stupid.
You have
I hate that too.
I wrote this in my notes. I thought it was funny. You have the villain inspired by Brandy, or not inspired, but I guess he followed because he's like, I had to go back to the sea. I couldn't. I'm like, you fucking idiot. And then, okay, this part really bothers me. Okay, you have the blue blob on Earth that destroys a Dairy Queen, and then gets reactivated later on in the movie and destroys more. Yet not once did they mention, when they're like, oh, the Sokovia record, you guys did this, and you did this, and remember that blue blob that came and no one did anything? No, I don't remember that in any of those movies. No. Nothing. I mean, again, it happened later, but still, like, you think some point they would have referenced, hey, remember that giant blob that took out, like, a city? Nah, we don't care about that.
Yeah, I guess. I'm
more impressed that Dairy Queen was there for 34 years and didn't close down.
Man, that's impressive, actually.
Yeah, Dairy Queen. Yeah, I actually like the fact that the first shot of Dairy Queen is like old Dairy Queen, and this one's new. You know, a little bit of product placement. They're like, hey, come get a Blizzard. But, but I mean, it's so you're basically saying, Mike, that they don't reference this moment anymore. Like, this is just like a hand-woven experience of these giant space blobs.
It seemed like something that would have been referenced somewhere, because it seemed like a big experience.
Yeah. But to be fair, that's not the fault of the movie if somebody else didn't reference it. That's not the movie's fault. So this movie, the movie didn't commit a crime by including these blobs. It's a good visual stakes. You know, it's a giant gelatinous thing. If the other movies don't reference it, then that's a failing on them.
I don't know. I didn't like it. Not even the movie. I didn't like it.
It was fine.
And
I
this
think you didn't like it because it was
Yep.
in this movie.
I just don't like anything about the movie, really.
You like Hasselhoff. That was your shining moment of, of the Hoff appearing.
I don't like Hasselhoff.
You're not German.
Yeah, and I also did really like the space tentacle, like the energy tentacle that pierces Quinn. That's cool. Like that, to use him as a battery, as he put it.
Okay.
I mean, the whole thing changes really fast, though. It's like he has no, like, Ego really doesn't spend any time trying to, like, convince Quinn, like, hey, listen, hey, son, come here, bring the energy ball. We had a moment with that, right? Can we have a moment again while I explain this to you? No, he turns 180 and says, well, forget it. Fine, I'll just use it as a battery. Just plug you into my space tentacles. Yeah, kind of rushed. But again, we're in a movie. We're approaching the third and final act. We got to get there. Let's just get there. It's fine. But I don't like this. I do think this could have been handled better.
Agreed. I mean, just a lot of dumb things happen you have them going to the planet. You have another song plays, but I don't remember. I didn't write down what song it was. A song Gunn is singing to himself.
Oh, I don't know. Did I look at that?
There's something I wrote because in my notes I see a little purple music note, so something was there, but I didn't write down enough because I wasn't paying, and I wasn't going to rewind to find out because I want this movie over with. So, and this is when the gold ship shows up because Gold Lady's been hunting him all this time.
Aisha.
Oh yeah, we forgot. Taserface had his last final scene when the ship is blowing up.
I love this.
The gold people. He's like, this is their coordinates. Just tell them that Taserface sent them. And she just starts laughing her ass off as he blows up.
I love it. I really thought that was funny. Again, it tacks on to the end of a very good scene. And those things work or they don't work, but you can just kind of, I don't know. Yeah, I guess it's like the ending note of a song. Like you want that to be good, right? You want the ending to be like punch. And every ending of every scene almost ends with like some sort of joke that either lands or doesn't. I laughed. I had a good chuckle at that one.
I mean, someone did.
Most of the country does. I mean, this is a beloved film, y'all. I mean, I don't know. I know you're not already a lot of times. Anyway, that's fine. You're allowed to dislike things. It's totally fine.
Oh, because I made a post months ago. At this point, people are listening to this on Facebook. Where I said where I apologize for making you guys suffer through this movie, and people are like, "What the hell?"
It's funny. As I've said multiple times on this show, don't let me steal your joy. You're allowed to not like things. It's all good. Hey, as I've said before too, I didn't write it, so I'm not going to be offended. It's fine. It's okay. I didn't make this film, so don't hurt my feelings.
And if you have the Eagles core, you haven't played the song Wham Bam Shangalang or something crap?
Yeah.
Never heard of the song before?
Neither had I. I wish I was cool enough where I'd be like, oh, I know all of these songs. This is like, this catalog is just I'm very familiar with. It was fine. Yeah, it's pretty good. It's a good little soul song, kind of like that 70s soul. It's a good song.
He finally uses the batteries that they stole in the beginning of this movie for something to use the batteries to make a bomb.
Yeah, so Rocket makes the bomb. So now we're in the core. So kind of the entire group is back together here because Yondu smashes the drill machine
and they use the lasers to get in here.
That thing's pretty cool.
Yes, it is. I was hoping you'd say that, Michael. Those ball lasers that can combine to different things, really, really excellent. Those are so cool. Love those.
We're kind of cool.
Gotta give it that. The ball lasers, fantastic.
Okay, and then we were talking earlier, like this is when they see Ego becomes a big giant blue face, and Mantis grabs one of like the roots of him or something and puts him to sleep for a bit. And then I did not like the scene, but maybe you guys did when they give Groot the bomb and Rocket spends a good 3 minutes telling him, okay, don't hit this button. Tell me what to do. I'll do this. I am Groot. I am Groot. No, don't do that. Like, I just told you not to do that. I am Groot. Like, it was funny the first time. Then it keeps going. I'm like, burn the damn tree. That's what I was thinking.
Every joke, a lot of the jokes, like you've said, Michael, have gone on too long. This one goes on a scooch too long, but I was on board with it. I thought the tape. Go ahead.
Yeah, this one was fine. The tape goes on entirely too long.
Yes, it does.
It's uncomfortable. It's almost like a cringy humor. Like you have to like that awkward humor in order to appreciate a lot of these, which I love. Awkward humor. I really get into like your Curb Your Enthusiasm style, like just awkward. And I thought the whole thing was very funny. I had a couple. He's walking around looking for tape. I really dug that.
I think I thought it funny the first time I saw it, but when I was watching it this time, that's why I opened with it. I was just like, okay, this joke is just too long. Like, did you ask Nebula for tape? Yeah, it's right. I asked Yondu sitting right next to her. She could have said something.
I knew you didn't ask. It's very funny.
The movie's already 2 hours. We don't need to go through several minutes of this.
No, it's good. And it feels like a long time. I mean, obviously, it's not. It's a terribly long amount of time.
It was a 3-hour movie for me. It felt like
yeah, it does go on too long, but I appreciate that humor. And you have a very good point. A lot of the comedy, because again, it's a comedy film. It's the shine wears off the more you see it. It's just kind of how comedy works, right? You can only listen to that Patton Oswalt record 15 times before it's like, all right, this isn't funny anymore. But after a certain point,
we're seeing this movie,
right? After a certain point, you get to the point where you have to then appreciate the craft of it, like the crafting of the joke, because that's what becomes more interesting than the humor. Because there's only so many times you can laugh at something, right? You're never going to laugh at it the same way you saw it the first time. Like for me, in a theater with a bunch of people, everyone laughing, like we're all connecting. Hey, in 2021, that may not be a thing anymore. You may no longer have the ability to go to a theater and experience a film with other people and have a shared experience as designed. But oh well.
And they're just going to make little bubbles that when you go into the theater, you're just going to sit down in your little station and you're going to wash the windows real fast and you're going to sit down, close the thing, hook up the air ventilator, and watch the movie.
When that happens, it's going to become very sad, and life will become worse when that eventually happens, because the shared experience of the film, especially a comedy, really requires like an audience to experience with. If you don't have that, it's just going to become.
I had an audience. It was my wife and our pets, and nobody was laughing. So yeah.
Pets didn't get the humor.
No, they did not.
The pet kept saying, "This is not earned."
That's what I kept saying. But
they were mad at the Mantis line about her being Ego's pet,
and they were mad at me for not feeding them. What they were mad at me for?
Yeah, well. So, speaking of Ego's face, you mentioned a minute ago, when Yondu, Kraglin, and Rocket go to the planet, you can actually see energy in the shape of eyes and a mouth as they're descending onto the planet.
Yeah, pretty neat. Yeah,
that's what he looks like in the comics,
right?
And I was very happy to get that Easter egg where they actually show what he actually looks like.
Right.
Oh, okay.
I don't know in the comics if he ever decides to become Kurt Russell or not, or if he's just a giant planet, because I've never read any of his stories and I never will. But yeah, he's just a giant planet with a face.
The real question is, does he have a penis?
Unfortunately, we know that now.
That's so stupid. Yeah, again, come on, Drax.
Oh, also, the other thing, okay, that reminds me, I wanted to make this joke or a complaint. That's what Eagle looks like, by the way, in the chat. But there's a part where when Eagle's like, I decided to become a human, I'm like, why would you become a human? Why not become whatever woman you're trying to, get with? You would think you would become that version of that humanoid or that version of that species. And it shows him kissing these other people dressed up like Kurt Russell, and I'm just like, why? Like,
because then it's just a Futurama episode.
Okay, fine. That's still stupid.
That's the thing.
So we got the stupid tape joke. We give Groot the bomb. Nebula gets shocked. I guess I wrote for some reason, and they blow up a bunch of ships. That's what's my notes here. Yeah. Oh yeah, because they use the laser beam things to blow up all the gold ships. They stop them. That ends that whole crap with the gold lady. And then I think they got the bomb. They put the bomb on his frickin' brain inside the middle of the planet.
Yep,
which is interesting, I guess.
Well, I think before he does that, so before he puts the bomb in the brain, I'm kind of like, because we're kind of going through it pretty fast, which is fine. Firstly, Michael, what did you think about all the different action things going on? Because there's a lot going on, right? You have
it's so bombastic.
It's a lot. Yeah.
And like Mike said earlier, they just keep jumping back and forth, and there's so many bright colors. It's like I was just ready for it to be done. Like, I don't care. The stakes aren't super great. I was indifferent.
Yeah, I think the stakes are definitely. I think the stakes really up when Baby Groot puts the bomb on the brain and actually successfully hits the button for 5 minutes. But before that, we had there's a lot of stuff going on. A lot of things I really dug. One, I love when after the mining craft explodes, because Yondu plugs Nebula in and uses her as a generator to send all this madness.
Oh yeah, so that's what my note was for Nebula shock.
That's the zapping you're talking about.
Oh yep.
That's how they all get destroyed.
This is really going to hurt. And she says, promises.
Which was cool. She had like a
movie last night.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. She had kind of let's do it. That kind of whole thing. Very cool. And then he has one. This was the line I should have done at the very beginning. When the whole craft explodes and then Yondu is floating down off of his whistle stick. And Quinn goes, "You look like Mary Poppins."
Is it cool?
Is Mary Poppins cool? Yes, she is. Hey, I'm Mary Poppins, y'all. I laughed out loud. I laughed really hard. That was very, very funny.
I didn't laugh.
Or as Mike has in his notes here as Mary Poopins.
That wasn't on purpose, by the way, and you know.
No, autocorrect does that.
I had a few beers at this point. I actually went upstairs at one point to get another beer because I was like, I need another beer to finish this movie because this movie just
That's it. All right. But then you kind of have your final showdown. At one point here, and I lost in my notes, they have the big hero turn where they're now all on the surface facing the giant face, and it kind of does that slow turnaround. And I forget what happens like to ruin that moment. Because again, you have the Guardians of the Galaxy are together as a team, right? Everyone's sitting there.
Oh, I know what it was.
I forgot. What is it?
A rock comes off screen and hits Mantis, and they undercut it with, "Mantis, look out!" after it's hit her.
Yeah, right. Drax is like, Drax did a second too late. But that's cool. You get your hero pose, and the music stops abruptly, like kind of Looney Tunes. And then that's when you have your moment of Groot. Basically, he tries to reason. He's basically telling Quill like, "Hey, you're 100% unique, and what else do you need? What else do you need to prove your self-worth and to be the master of the cosmos?" And then I think that's when Quill says it's love. Love is all you need. I think
that's what he said. Love is all you need. I'd have been happier.
Yeah. And then they start the chain again. They start playing the chain again because he is literally at this point now breaking the chains of his attachment to his new daddy, literally breaking it and figuratively breaking it. I think it's great. They start smacking each other mindlessly. No one cares. No one cares.
So dumb. This fight scene. Like, I like comic-y book fight scenes. I hate it all. This is all just so stupid. You have Yondu goes back to go save Quill. But I do like that scene where Rocket's like, I only have one of each. Like, he knows he ain't coming back. Like, he's going to save Quill, but that's the end of it. Because the ship is leaving. Because the bomb's going to blow up and they got to get off this planet.
Welcome to the freaking Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah. It's very frickin'. He didn't say frickin'. I
did like that part.
Yeah.
I had a small smile at that part.
Yeah, well, that part, and then except he didn't say frickin'. Like, they have to take it up to 11s.
Yes, they have to right. They cannot just let a scene be. But I think this was okay because it's delivered in context with it's the character. It's in context. It's not play jokey. It's just kind of badass. I like this delivery. I think this is very good. I think it's a very good scene with Yondu. Where he realizes he has to self-sacrifice to save everybody else, which of course he does. Then let's see here. My notes are so all over the place because this whole scene is all over the place. The Pac-Man thing stinks. I don't like that at all. No, nothing about the fight between Ego and Quill work. There's no stakes. It's not interesting. There's nothing.
It's a CGI fight.
It's a CGI fest. Exactly.
CGI fight. But this one's bad.
It's just two dudes clashing against each other and throwing themselves into rocks.
Why did one guy becomes rocks, and the other guy becomes Pac-Man, and for some stupid reason, then he hits the shell.
And all of it's done to it's Man of Steel. Basically, God, I just had a gag reflex.
Oh, stupid! And Gamora gets shot for some. Oh yeah, because Gamora's going to go down off the ship to go save Quill. They shoot her, but she can't leave because she was going to kill herself essentially.
Yeah, and Rocket has the good line of like, "I'm gonna only lose one friend today."
It's good. Rocket has this beautiful kind of turn, and I do think it's pretty earned because it's earned through him having these relationships, people trying to connect with him, right? Trying, and him constantly batting down those attempts, and then finally submitting to this notion. And he does so with Yondu, and we completely skipped that moment when Yondu and Rocket have that connection moment in the mining ship where they're fighting, and Yondu's, "You're just like me," which is a corny line, but it was very effective. It's like, it shows, boom, like Rocket hits him like, wow, I've just been actively pushing the world away. And I think it works really beautifully, to be honest. And I love his turn in this. It's really touching, to see our rat friend soften up a bit,
Yeah, we haven't touched on that. They call him at least 6 different animals in this movie.
Yeah. I remember someone called him a furry panda or angry panda or something.
We call him Drax when they call him a trash panda. That's better, right? Oh, it's so much worse. Like,
Nebula calls him Fox. multiple times.
Someone with a triangle face, like really funny. But I really do like Rocket's turn. It seems pretty earned, not 100%, but it's pretty earned, and I found it kind of touching. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and then him seeing Yondu willing to sacrifice himself kind of touches him that much more, and he's like, ugh.
Yeah,
I
already lost two friends.
like the scene where Yondu pretty much sacrificed himself to save Peter, and Peter realizes it, and he's trying to get the thing off him. That was good. I did like all that. It made the movie a little better.
It's touching as well. I mean, you think about it. Quill has lost two fathers in the span of 5 minutes.
Yeah,
right.
Which has got to be tough.
What? That is brutal, and I think it's played very well. I think the performance is good on both parts. Even if it's a little contrived, I still think emotionally it pays off. And again, luckily there's no jokes in this. This is the only part of the movie where there really are no chuckles. Because, and again, we saw moments. Again, we passed over the moment where everyone's in dire straits, everyone's trapped, and then of course the chain comes on and everyone's saved because the chain is an amazing song. But yeah, no, I think this is really good, and everything from here on out's great. Like genuinely wonderful.
This is the part of the movie where I was finally on board in the last 10 minutes.
Yeah, this is where everything comes to. This is where all the sins of this movie, and there are a number of them. I don't think there are as many as you guys think. All the sins are forgiven in this because it's all in service to this really beautiful, touching ending. That actually, I think in the theater I was teary-eyed. I think I got a little misty at the end of this. This time, no, it was 1 a.m. I was not misty, but I was just tired.
It's a good. I like the whole funeral, and they're also playing that Cat Stevens, the song "Father and Son."
Yeah.
Okay.
On the Zune. Oh my god.
It was a Zune.
Yeah. He gives him a Zune. Yeah.
Wow, that's really outdating this movie, huh?
Well, Kirk hands it to him. He's like, "This is what everyone on Earth's listening to." I think it's the joke.
That's the joke. The joke is like everyone on Earth is using this. You could put 300 songs on it, and Quill's like 100 songs, and the idea is it's a joke. The Zune.
Nobody freaking. Even when I used to work at Target at the time with the Zune, nobody bought the damn Zune.
That is the joke. That's the funny thing. Obviously on Earth. So instead of it, because he has his Walkman crushed, that's part of the big just like dagger stab to him. Because he had his mom gave it to him, the whole thing.
Mm-hmm. He even says, "You shouldn't have killed my mom and crushed my Walkman."
Yep. You shouldn't have killed my mom and crushed my Walkman. And he gives him that Zune, and he listens to Cat Stevens. And this is a very long, protracted scene where it just takes forever. But I think the movie is finally relaxing. Mm-hmm. And finally just letting these characters breathe, letting us breathe. We're sending off Yondu, which... not a major character in the film or in the series, in the Guardian of the Galaxy universe, but one we've spent a lot of time with and who's had a lot of impact, especially on the character of Quinn. He's had a lot of impact on the character of Rocket, and he did good. He finally did good. And the send off is great when the Ravagers arrive, all in a big group.
That was cool.
Very
and they do
cool.
The funeral.
Shoot up the fireworks.
They said they wouldn't do before. I like that.
Yeah. It choked me up a little bit there.
Yeah. It's gorgeous, and it's beautifully done. You see a lot of the other Ravagers. Michael Clark Duncan, right? Is that?
No, he would.
Oh no, that's not Michael Clark. He's long dead.
Ving Rhames.
Thank you. How did I write Michael Clark?
I recognized him, but I didn't know where I recognized him. Where's he from?
Pulp Fiction.
Oh, that guy. Okay.
He's on.
He's been a lot of stuff. I always remember.
Was that in Sin City, or was that the other one?
No, that's Michael Clark.
I think that was Michael Clark Duncan.
Yeah, Ving Rhames has been a bunch of stuff. I always remember him from Pulp Fiction. One of the captains from Star Trek Discovery is one of the lady leader who they flash to.
Oh, the Asian one, right?
Yes. She plays one of the. I don't want to spoil the movie. She has quite the arc. She has quite the arc in Star Trek Discovery.
Okay.
I like Star Trek.
The Bond girl in Tomorrow Never Dies too.
Oh, really? I've never seen it. Okay.
I'm sorry. What are you talking about there, Mike? He was only in 3. He's only in 2 movies.
I will defend that movie.
It's.
I like it more than GoldenEye.
Oh, you wound me, sir.
we will, before we continue on with this, just let me iterate on like James Bond movies. If you ever decide to do this with James Bond movies, which you should not.
I will not.
No.
Don't do that.
I will not.
Don't include me because they all are the same to me. I cannot tell. There was a period where my brother was really into James Bond, and we saw maybe I would say 18 of them, like a ton. You want to watch every James Bond movie. This was many years ago. I cannot tell you the difference between one or the other. They're all the same to me. So they all mush together in my brain. So
I could very quickly, but I don't want to.
You'd watch it if Benedict Cumberbatch was Bond.
You're right. There's just nothing. He's just silent. He's like, no, Tomorrow Never Dies. I just don't care for because the whole plot is a guy who wants to start a war because he sells newspapers. But then again, strange things have happened in reality too, like a reality TV show becoming the president for 4 years. So hey, all right. And so the funeral, I like that they have Sylvester Stallone. You have Lex Luthor, Michael Rosenbaum's one line is Iceman, where he says something. Miley Cyrus's one line. I liked it. Yeah, and then you got the title card.
Yep, that's the end.
Really stupid scene with Sean Gunn playing the Cheap Trick surrender song, and he ends up stabbing Drax with the arrow.
I thought it was pretty good. That song is fun.
Yeah. Although, Jesus, I only know that song because it was covered by Simple Plan on the Fantastic Four soundtrack. And then I went back and listened to the original.
Not gonna lie, my first experience with that song was Less Than Jake. It has a cover of it.
Okay, I don't feel so bad then.
On the album Anthem. So that they do a cover of Surrender, which is actually an excellent cover.
Right now, I have no idea. I have no memory of this place.
But yeah, no, it's neat. It's fine. It's a perfect little end scene where like he's trying to learn how to use the whistle stick and stabs Drax. Which you know what? Honestly, pretty good and cathartic because he's been such an asshole this entire time. It's nice to see him get like a dagger into the shoulder and him scream. So maybe that's why I enjoyed it as much as I did.
Oh, and then you have the credits. There's actually I missed one of the credit scenes because I was skipping through the credits. I just wanted this movie over with. You have the first credit scene where you have Stallone with a crew talking about how they're going to go steal stuff and go be Ravagers, which I'm assuming Stallone is going to be in the third Guardians movie whenever the hell that comes out. I'm assuming.
Yeah, I assume that they're just setting up the new crew, or the next crew of Guardians. Yeah.
Yeah, and then there's also a scene that I didn't see because I skipped it apparently, where you have Aisha. I saw it on YouTube. Aisha talking to somebody, and she shows the big golden coffin. And says, "I will call him Adam," and that's Adam Warlock coming.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the now. When you said that earlier, that makes sense. That's the Adam.
There's
Warlock.
Also because there's the cocoon that Adam Warlock is in the background of Guardians of the Galaxy 1. This is the second thing he's in, and I thought he was going to show up for sure in Infinity War or Endgame, and he never did. I guess he's supposed to be in Volume 3 whenever the hell we get that. Yeah. I don't know. Volume 3 is going to be weird when we get that, because I think Thor is in that movie too.
Well, yeah,
he would have to be given how the other movies end. Yeah,
he's basically a member of the Guardians of the Galaxy once he leaves, which is good. I'm very happy with that. Because now he's a comedic genius. He just belongs on that group now.
And I hope Thor Ragnarok goes well when we watch that. I'm a little scared.
You might should be. Yeah.
I am concerned too.
They're supposed to release 4 Marvel movies next year right now.
They're supposed to release at least 2 this year too. So
yeah. But yeah, and also the gold sarcophagus with Adam. I wrote my notes. Like, hey writers, can we stop referring to god creatures as Adam? Like, we have to, like, if you birth something.
It was in the 60s. It was.
I guess, right? They're probably like, ooh, what could we call a god character? Adam?
The first of his kind.
I bet you first of his kind. All right, I think that works. No, let's not do that anymore. Sorry.
And then
it happens everywhere.
You know, the very final scene where Stan Lee's talking to the Watchers are leaving him, and he's like, "Hey, where are you going? You're my ride."
Oh, and you missed Teen Groot, which I thought was.
Oh yeah, I completely missed that. I'm okay with that though.
That's cute. That's cute.
Teen Groot. It's just Peter acting like a father. It's like, no, Yondu felt.
Yeah, that's cute. 30-second scene's fine. And then, the final one is Stan Lee calling after the Watchers, hey, can you get me a ride? Which now makes 100% more sense. Before I was just like, Stan Lee being silly. Okay.
My favorite part of this viewing was I was watching on Disney Plus, and they now have a feature that you can skip the credits to the next scene during the credits.
Oh.
I didn't know you could do that.
Oh, I don't know. That's what I watched it on, so.
Where were you watching it on?
I watched it on PS4.
Oh, yeah. PS4? Yeah, I watch on my computer.
I do sometimes.
Anyway, so and that's it. That's the end of the movie. And scene.
It was a movie.
It's over. I was so happy when it ended.
It's good to say, I think Mike needs to go first for Shelf or Box.
I will go first. This is going in the box, but not just any box. This movie is going in a box, and I'm going to take the box, bury it in a hole, and burn it, because I will never watch the movie again in my life. I have hated this movie more than every single movie we have watched on this show completely. I mean, to me, I just did not enjoy it. It is the worst MCU movie in my opinion. I know some people like it. I know some people think it's, not their favorite, but they enjoyed it. I didn't laugh at the jokes. I didn't like the way they portrayed Drax. I didn't like the way they portray Rocket. I just don't like anything about this movie. I didn't really laugh. It's just not, I don't think it's a good movie. I think it's stupid. I think it doesn't connect very well to other things. It doesn't make the characters likable, even though I know you're trying to. It's just, nope, garbage, in the box, I'm done.
So I have a question. You're going to burn the hole?
Burn the death. I guess that was a joke. I don't know. We're going to light the box of fire inside the hole? Sure. I don't know where I was going with that.
So the ashes may never be seen again? Or burn the hole? That's funny.
Just burn the hole.
You're going to bury it in a hole and set it on fire.
I don't got nothing. I just did not enjoy it at all, and I unfortunately went into it not expecting to enjoy it, and so maybe that played a part in it. But I also went in Iron Man 3 thinking I was going to hate that. That's on the shelf, so I got nothing. How about you, Mike?
Yeah, it's going to go not in the devastating box that you're putting it in, but it's going to go in Bill's box in the garage. Yeah, it didn't work for me. The humor, like we said, it could have been good, but they just had to crank it up to 11 every time and take it one step too far. One running joke that we didn't reference that actually got a guffaw out of me was Drax mispronouncing what the batteries are called.
That was pretty good. Yeah.
They're called Herbulary batteries. That's not what they're called.
Pretty good.
But other than Nebula, nothing landed for me. Everything she does is awesome, and she saves Gamora, and she's just immediately get over it. She's badass. But yeah, box.
Okay. And how about you, Bill?
Well, it's interesting. This is going to go on a shelf for me. This is going to go on the shelf, and I think this is kind of, as we've been discussing this film, this should be no surprise to anybody. This is a movie where I think perception plays a role in how you enjoy it. I think if you go into this as, again, like I've said at the open, if you go into this as an action movie, a comic book action space adventure, you're going to be disappointed. This movie is a comedy, and it has beats like a comedy, and it rolls through with all of the benefits and pratfalls of a comedy, because comedy is extremely subjective. You either get the joke or you don't. And when you punctuate every scene with a joke or two jokes, if you end every moment with something funny, you're going to lose a lot of people, and you're going to get a lot of people. For me, the jokes mostly land. I agree with most of the detractions about Drax. I think he's poorly made, poorly drawn, just bad ideas. A lot of the jokes don't work. A lot of them really do. But at the end, it does do a good job of developing these characters through action, through meaningful events. I think Rocket's turn is great. I think Yondu's turn is phenomenal. I think Nebula's great. I think everyone gets a moment. Unfortunately, I think Gamora, of all of them, are probably the least interesting, which is a shame because she should be the most interesting. But I think it does enough good things to make it worthwhile, and the ending of it forgives a lot of sins, because the ending is one of my favorite endings of any MCU movie, to be honest. So this goes on the shelf. This is an enjoyable film that I think is worth seeing again and again, but maybe high on the shelf, not easily accessed. I need a ladder to get up to my top bookshelf. But definitely would like to see it again. Especially my wife enjoys it too. So watching it together again will be enjoyable. In a year or so. I'd watch this once every couple of years for sure.
That's a no for me, dog.
Well, if you burn the state that the hole resides in, if you've built charcoal, a grill. Maybe are you going to cook it like a cobbler inside the hole?
I just want it to never exist. I want to erase it from my memory. I want Eternal Sunshine to happen, to forget about this movie and go, man, the MCU is all just great movies.
Well, luckily, if they never pay off the Adam Warlock thing, this has no bearing at all on the rest of the MCU.
Yeah, it really does. None of these really do. Now that Thor's a member of the team, I guess now it has more bearing, but. Yeah, I don't know. I respectfully disagree with your assessment, Mr. Mike. But I respectfully disagree.
I'm glad that you guys didn't feel the way I felt. This would have been a much different episode if that was the case.
Yeah,
so I'm okay with that.
And I will go on record as saying that this soundtrack is better than Guardians 1. Sorry.
Wow.
Oh yeah, I think it is. Again, I think there's the weakest song. There's no terrible songs. and they're for the most part good to all-time greats. So.
And I didn't get my ooga chaka for 30 seconds of just going, with no music.
Yeah, you didn't get me railing about how bad those songs are for like 3 minutes, like you did on the previous Guardians episode.
That I think.
So you're saying you can't fight this feeling?
No, I can't fight the feels. That's this movie. No.
Maybe I'm gonna have a Pina Colada, I think, after this, huh? I've never had a Pina Colada. I never will, but I like that joke. All right. I think we should introduce what we're going to be talking about next time that we do this. I mean, in your world, you guys listening, it will only be the following next time, like a couple of weeks. In our world, we're taking a month break from this before we cover the next movie that I'm actually excited to cover, Iron Man 4. As Mike made the joke earlier. Spider-Man Homecoming we're going to be covering, which takes place after this movie, but before Doctor Strange. I'm excited though. I haven't seen Homecoming since I saw it in theaters in 2017, so I'm excited to see how I feel about it the second time watch.
Same. Yeah,
I actually bought the Blu-ray yesterday, a 2-pack for $10 on Amazon for both of them.
Hey,
that's not bad.
No, it was like $15 for Homecoming and $20 for both of them, or no, $10 for both of them. I'm like, this doesn't make any sense.
Oh yeah, these aren't on Disney Plus.
No, unfortunately, only the Spider-Man movies, the only 2 movies that aren't on Disney Plus that we have left in our list.
Yeah, because Sony owns the property but loans it to Marvel for 15 minutes so they can shoot a scene in an Endgame. Fuck, I hate this so much.
Yep. Cover Spider-Man Homecoming. And Bill, why don't you plug your podcast that will be out at this time?
Oh, yes. Hopefully it is. The show's entitled A Gamer Looks at 40. It's can be a year-long retrospective of the history of games as told through the stories and recollections of the people who have lived it. So it's got one episode, every episode's a year, and it's just going to be comprised of a lot of the stories and recollections from the world of gaming and the history of it. I personally feel that everybody knows all the facts, and if you're listening to this show, you know that Mario 2 is Doki Doki Panic. You know all of those little nuggets of things, but what you don't know are personal stories of people who've experienced this hobby, this medium. So hopefully by this show, or like March or so, we probably be out of the NES era by then.
This is April.
I'm hoping for an episode a week. I don't think that's going to happen due to how complex this is already looking just by collecting some interviews already. But it'll be a ride. So definitely check it out. A Gamer Looks at 40.
Okay, I'm excited. I'm looking forward to listening to that too. I'm also looking forward to being on it too at some point too. So,
I mean, after this episode, how negative you are against this beautiful gem of a film. I don't know.
No room for Baby Groot haters. Sorry.
Yeah. Listen, huh? No room for Baby Groot haters.
I don't know why I don't like Baby Groot. I just don't. Maybe it's because I own multiple Baby Groot things and my wife likes them. Maybe that's why I don't like them. I don't know. She likes Baby Groot a lot.
Your wife has good taste because he is a little charming little lad.
She likes Baby. She's bought Baby Groot stuff. But all right, so yeah, and as I was kind of making a joke, yeah. So we're gonna be like, it won't affect anything, but it's just something like to kind of point out there. Like we took a break, we came back, we recorded 3 episodes because we're so far ahead of this. We're taking another break, and then we'll come back and record 8 left. Hopefully. Who knows? Maybe there'll be another break in there at some point if we need it. I don't know, but we'll see. 8 left. Wow. 8 more movies to go in this wonderful idea I had a year ago.
It's good though. I've had fun. I don't know.
It's been fun. It's just been it's definitely when you watch all these movies in order like this, it definitely has a different outlook on how you see them.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah,
I will never do this with Bond. Never. I will never do another 20-some movie set. I might do X-Men someday, but I'm pretty sure me and Mike.
6 of those.
There's more than that. There's like 12 if you count everything.
Really?
I think so. I don't want to look at them.
Blocking out certain movies.
Perhaps.
Okay. I don't run out of time. I'll do quick. X-Men 1, X-Men 2, X-Men 3, X-Men Origin Wolverine, First Class, Days of Future Past, The Wolverine, Old Man Logan, the Dark Phoenix movie, New Mutants.
Oh. It doesn't count.
They're all part of that series. So there's 12, 13 movies. But we're not doing that. I'm not doing this again. We will probably. I do want to watch Ocean's 11, 12, and 13 with you, Mike, and do an episode about that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, great. I mean, have I seen 13? Yeah. 12, 11 and 12 are great. And 13 I remember being okay.
13 with Al Pacino. That's a really good movie, too. I really like 13. I like all 3 of the. I watched them all this past week because of Mike, and I just could not. They were really, really good. A lot better than the shit I just got done watching for this episode. But All right, I actually do plugs. If you enjoyed this episode, we got a lot more MCU movies. Check all those out. We went through everything up to this point. We do games every week. We do comics. Definitely check out our other episode. We got a ton for you to look at. I'm sure there's something that you'll find that will catch your interest. Also want to give a shout out to our awesome intro and outro, courtesy of Bobby, a.k.a. Mike Stoney from his EP, Bite the Bullet, Songs the Cool Kid Squad. Definitely check him out. You will see a link in the show notes to his YouTube channel. You'll also see a link to Bill's podcast in the show notes, too. And please follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and on YouTube. We are also on YouTube, but there is no video content yet to the show. Maybe by the time you're hearing this, there is, but I highly doubt it. So I don't know when we're going that road. So definitely stay tuned for all that. And thank you for listening, and we will see you guys all next time. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.